Alright, I'm excited. I'm really excited. So, I already saw this game on Itch.io way before this demo even came out. And then they recently dropped their trailer song for it, which one was the most genius choice of song I have ever seen in game advertising before. Like, to think that for a game called Touchstarved, they decided, you know what we're gonna do? We're going to have a cover of the freaking song every time we touch. And that, whoa, not only was it like this like gothic remix version of it, but who other than fucking Dan Avedon from the Game Grumps sang it? And I swear to God, this is like the most perfect like thing that they could have ever done. And I'm really excited to play this game now. Like, I'm ecstatic to play. This is just the demo, so I hope I like it. I hope that it's good, because I'm so excited. I love dating otome games, and I like when they're interesting, and I hope this is interesting. I hope it is gay, because there's a lot of dating otome games out there that are only garnered towards, you know, female people. And that really upsets me, because I wanna date these attractive people, but I can't, because they're like, no, we only date women, and it makes me very sad. So let's just get into it. Okay. Disclaimers. Alright. Streamers and content creators should turn music volume to 0 in order to disable copyrighted music. This is a demo of the Touchstarved prologue and not the finished product. Thank you. Okay. Content warning. Touchstarved is intended for an older audience. It contains mature content that includes, but is not limited to, horror, graphic violence, strong language, alcohol and drug references, injury, and dismemberment. Player discretion is advised. If you accept the content warning, please click Proceed. Tutorial. In Touchstarved, your choices matter. The decisions you make may result in a unique dialogue, interactions, or even choices in red text which contain exclusive content. Try playing through the demo more than once and choosing different options. You might even uncover a secret ending. And remember, there are no wrong choices, only interesting ones. Choose wisely and save often. Okay, obviously, left click, mouse wheel up, rewind text and dialogue. Okay. Alright. Oh. Okay. Aw, so I'm glad they tell you that, because you have no idea how many games I have played where they just straight up will, like, get you with copyright, and it's like, dude, it's in your game. Why would you have this in your game? Yes! Yes! This world began to unravel long before you were born. It began with fogfall. Spectral mist bled from the seams where reality wore so thin it split. And from that fog emerged monsters, and human beings with unnatural powers. Some possessed language and intellect, others were mindless beasts driven by little more than the desire to slaughter. As cities fell and unrest spread, humans united in their fear while monsters thrived in the chaos. And then there's you. You're not even sure if you're human. You were born cursed, with hands that alter the minds of anyone you touch. Choose your backstory. Oh my god. Ooh, yes! Yes! I'm so excited. Okay, so there's 3 choices. The Unnamed, the Hound, and the Alchemist, okay. You were raised as an oracle in a remote temple. The priests claimed your touch bestowed enlightenment, but a visiting mage revealed your curse for what it is. Following the mage's word, you fled in search of cenobium. You regularly experience unnatural premonitions that rattle your body and soul. An innate sixth sense gives you a heightened awareness of hidden supernatural presences around you. Okay. The Hound? You were raised by society's outcast criminals who accepted you when nobody else would. Your partner in crime, a friend since childhood, helped you steal enough money for a cure, then betrayed you. They left you with only enough coin to travel to the cenobium, your last hope. You have sharply honed social intuition. You can survive and even thrive in violent underbelly of any city, using your experience with the underworld to get ahead. The Alchemist, an exiled Cenobian mage, took you in as a child, raising you as her apprentice. She seemed to take pity on your curse, but you discover that she was cultivating you as a test subject. You fled to the Cenobium, seeking a cure. You are an experienced spellcaster with encyclopedic knowledge of alchemy, spellcraft, and history. With a little observation, you can identify the subtle effects of magic. Okay, so these give you a good buffs. So I can have good supernatural presence, awareness, so basically a sixth sense. I can have intuition, survive and thrive in violent underbelly of the city. So I have experience. I have the street smarts for it. And the Alchemist, I just have experience with magic and the effects of it. I don't know how fair that plays into it. And since there's like two that are sort of very similar, I can pick between those two. I was going to go with the unnamed, but I think, what would be more helpful? I feel like since we're going into an environment that I'm not very aware of, it'd be best if I know, if I can, you know, figure that out by myself. Your name is Evan? Yes. I'm male. I'm a he. I'm not into that mentally ill stuff. Backstory is the Hound. Is this correct? Yes. I think I want to do the unnamed later. The wasteland stretches as far as the eye can see. There's nothing out here but death, the ever-present stench of decay, and countless sun-bleached bones cast like seeds across the barren land. I could say death doesn't scare me, but to tell you the truth, I'm desperate. It's been 2 weeks since I joined a caravan bound across the wastes. Finding a group that would accept me was a trial in itself. As rations grew sparse and my canteen ran dry, I began to despair. But then I saw it. Iridia, the city of knowledge, one of the last bastions of humanity left in the world and home to the famous academy called the Cenobium. All the world's knowledge gathered in one place. If there's anywhere I'll find a cure for my curse, it's there. Slay. All that stands between me and a cure is a final stretch of salt-soaked wastes, or so I think, until I see the first tendrils of fog snaking beneath the wagon. Do I get to pick what I look like? Is this fogfall? My stomach sinks at the very whisper of it. A silent storm more devastating than fire. Dangerous in the cities, but a death sentence beyond them. A thick blanket of fog engulfs us, smothering out the lantern's light. The wagon lurches to a stop. An eerie silence heavy as the mist falls over us. The only warning we get is a strangled scream. Stay back! No! The cry dissolves into wet gurgling. Oh god, Jesus. Then the wagon violently pitches to the side. I hit the ground hard, the air punched from my lungs. When I open my eyes, adrenaline lends sudden, awful clarity to the carnage around me. A trader I once shared bread with lies face down in the mud, their back reduced to long strings of torn muscle, gleaming gristle, and exposed bone. Bodies littered the wasteland. I try to rise, but my ankle explodes with the pain so blinding. White blooms across my vision. Only when my eyes adjust do I see the dark shape in front of me. A soulless stoops over the twisted form of a caravaner. I freeze, but it swivels its head. A dozen bulging eyes twist in my directions and blink as one. Oh hell, ew, no. The soulless lets out an ear-splitting shriek and runs at me. But right before it reaches me, the beast barrels past, vanishing into the mist. Distantly, a horse screams in the dark. I need to move now. Run for the city or head towards the wagon. Oh, great! They're making me have a choice. So, what is the wagon gonna do for me? Oh, a horse. The horse is closer. I take cover beside the wagon where the air is thick, greasy smoke. Fire eats through the gaping hole and spluttering where the lantern rim mixes with the brackish water. Every person I see is dead or dying except one. O All-Mother, forgive our sins. Guide us into your hearth. We are worthy. We are worthy. A traveler grovels by the flames, their hands clasped above their head in fervent prayer. I glance upwards towards the gauzy lights of Iridia, just visible where the fog runs thinnest. I don't pray, but the sight of the city is all the reminder I need. I came too far to die here. Rapid footsteps echo all around me. I turn in circles, frantically searching the opaque mist for the source, but the fog fall twists and stretches sound. Suddenly, the caravan's driver bursts forth from the fog. Our eyes meet too late. He slams into me, knocking me to the ground, and slips in a patch of mud. The soulless falls on him as soon as he slows. It catches the driver by his throat and rakes his stomach with razor-sharp claws. He comes apart like wet paper, spilling intestines and viscera in a steaming tide. Fighting the urge to heave, I claw frantically through the slippery muck for a handhold. Shit. My hand catches on the jagged edge of a rib, jutting up from the water. Bandages unfurl around the gouge torn deep into my palm. The pain's quickly forgotten when a hand closes around my wrist. Can you stand? Who is this? Hello? The praying traveler leans over me. We need to run. Oh, I have bandages on my hands. Oh, I'm cool looking. They reach for my hand and I realize too late that my bandages have come undone. No, don't touch me. The sensation of the thumb brushing the back of my hand sends a shiver down my spine. All it takes is one touch, and the space of a breath, my curse takes hold. Their lips peel back in a deranged grin. What did I do? What did I do? No, I've seen this face countless times before. This is my curse, a madness of my own making. Their grip on my hand. Oh, that's right, I'm cursed. Damn it, I forgot about that. Until pain radiates from my knuckles. Let me go. Suddenly, clammy hands crush my throat, choking off my breath. Die, 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 die. Spit bubbles at the corners of their mouth and flecks my face. The edges of the vision darken as my lungs scream for air. I can't. It'll alert the thing. My nails gouge deep into the traveler's wrist, but no matter how much blood I draw, they don't flinch. The more I struggle, the tighter their grip grows. My pulse hammers in my ears, slowing with each thudding beat. This can't be happening. I'm going to die, and not because of the fogfall or the soulless, but because of my own curse. Tears sting my eyes. No, not here. Not like this. Am I really gonna die right now? Oh, the hands drop from my neck, leaving me wheezing for air. My lungs burn with each ragged cough. My vision clears as the traveler's face takes shape, hovering inches from mine. Lips still split in that macabre smile, even as blood seeps between their teeth. They give one last shuddering breath and slump over, the claws hooked through their stomach. Oh, the soulless shoves the body aside, and the glowing eyes studying its leathery skin thin as the grinning. Did I die? There's a flash of claws. Oh. I thought there'd be no pain, but Am I dead? Oh, I'm resting among an outcrop of seeds, mine neatly severed at the elbow. It should have taken both arms. Without them, maybe I could have survived. Maybe I could have had a home. Instead, I'll die cold and alone, facing the desolate wasteland. A fighting end for a monstrosity like me. Bro, I suck! If this is death, it is not as bad as I feared. The cold is gone and the choking stench of bog water. I could drift forever, cocooned in oblivion, until all thought and sensation vanish. No curse, no body howling at me in the madness and terror, nothing at all. The thought has a terrible appeal to it. But the next moment, I take a reflexive breath, air pours into my lungs, then out again in a ragged gasp. Feeling comes flooding back, warm cloth of my bare skin, a firm surface underneath me, a strange tank of sulfur in the air. Do not be afraid. How did I live? Oh my god. I twist my head towards the voice. Tears flood my bleary vision at the bright glow of lamplight. Can they heal my arm? Is that like a thing that can happen? Can you just reattach it? Just staple it. Try not to move. The voice is calm, steady, and commanding, but more importantly, it's a stranger's voice. One thought cuts through my mental fog. I have no idea who this is, and I'm completely at their mercy. Stay away from me. My words come out in a little more than a creaky whisper. I clamp my mouth shut, hating how weak and helpless I sound. No. Oh, what the hell is this? I mean, they would have killed me by now. I let myself slump back against the thin pillow, wincing when the motion jolts my head. Ah, a cooperative patient, thank you. You're welcome. I may be stupid, but I listened. The words swim in one ear and out the other without much comprehension. I pulled up the sheet higher, wiping my eyes until my vision clears. I have my arms? Do I have both my arms? The stranger towers over my prone form. Warm light reflects off his pristine medical coat. That is one medical coat. I instinctively shrink back, and that's when I notice that I'm completely naked, except for a thin linen sheet. Well, I probably was like fucked up bad. Naked, lying on a low cot with a pair of sharp golden eyes watching my every move. The man's gaze flickers to my exposed, unbandaged hands. Okay, hands. I have my arms. I plunge my hands under the sheet to hide them from sight, though it's too late. He must have noticed what they looked like. Strange, cursed, inhuman. He's probably an angel or something. I don't know, like, look at him. I brace myself for his inevitable suspicion and disgust, but his expression doesn't even flicker from that courteous smile. He just watches in placid silence as I struggle to make sense of my surroundings. Where am I? Who are you? Be calm. You are safe here. Whoever this is, he clearly has no idea who or what I am. I've never been safe anywhere with anyone. Okay, from watching that therapist guy, he says the first thing you do when you're in a stressful situation is to take in your surroundings. So we need to make sure that we are alive, which we are. We have all of our body parts, which we do. You have to get that familiar thing that you know and stick to that so you don't freak out. I do sort of wish he started explaining everything, but he's probably going to do that already. But whatever. Whoever this is, yeah. I've never been safe anywhere with anyone. That's interesting. The only people I ever trusted betrayed me for a fat purse of a coin. I scowl, pulling the sheet protectively around myself. Where are my clothes? The man's golden eyes narrow slightly. A sharp sigh rustles the papers in his hands. I see you are not to be dissuaded. Your clothes were torn to shreds when I found you, but I procured replacements. Slay. Oh my god. With a soft creak, he stands from his chair, giving me a better view of my surroundings. Okay. I seem to be in some sort of medical clinic. Bottles of silvery alchemical concoctions line the counters in neat rows. The air makes my nose twitch, a faint whiff of smoke, and something distinctly metallic that I can't quite place. The doctor produces a large dense bundle of cloth, which he sets at the foot of my cot. He's easily a head taller than most, and I have to crane my neck to look at him. Thank you. I should be polite if I can, especially since I don't know who this is, what he can do, or what he wants with me. I think he's just a regular doctor who probably was walking by. Well, I don't know. Like, it depends who got me out of the situation, but he's just saving me. And as a professional, he should leave the room anyway, but whatever. You are welcome. I will leave you to get your... Yep, see? He's respectful. He's a professional, so I'm not going to be mean to him. Though, I should also have boundaries. Whatever. He's hot. With a curt nod, he leaves through a narrow door. I hear a soft click as the lock turns behind him. I count to 3 in the sudden silence. When I don't hear any more footsteps, I reach for that bundle of clothes. An itch on my elbow stops me short. I reach down absently to rub at it, then freeze when my fingers meet a neat line of stitches. My arm, yeah. That beast took my arm clean off, and yet my arm shows no sign of injury apart from the black stitches poking through my skin. I gingerly flex my fingers, feeling my heart race at the sensation. My arms work, okay? That's all that matters. This is impossible. I should be dead, or at the very least gasping out my breaths. Maybe... I don't know. Maybe he's just really good at his job. I squeeze my eyes shut, waiting for the pleasant dream to unravel, to wake up bleeding out in the swamp. But nothing happens. The second ticks by and my arm remains resolutely healed, my surroundings pristine and quiet. In numb disbelief, I reach for the replacement clothes and begin stiffly pulling them on. They're thicker and warmer than mine were, with a black woolen cloak to go with them. But there's one thing still missing, my bandages. The golden-eyed man didn't leave me with any, even though I know he saw my hands. I slide off the bed and take a few unsteady steps towards one of the drawers. If this is indeed a doctor's clinic, there must be bandages somewhere. My favorite thing about going to the doctors is stealing. I usually take either their alcohol wipes, something like maybe a bandage if they have like the ace bandages, or so I once took like a couple of blankets if they have blankets in there, or their gloves because I dye my hair a lot. So sorry doctors, I know you're underpaid, but I start opening drawers at random, and of course that's when the door swings open once more. Are you looking for something? Oh, am I still nude? I whirl around, clutching a thick roll of clean bandages. I try to step back from him, but my legs bump against the end of the cot. Your caution is understandable, though if I meant you any harm, you would know. No, I know. That doesn't make me feel any better in the slightest, but he makes no move towards me, so I quickly wind the bandages around my hands. So, I wonder, because of the fact that I picked someone who was betrayed, if I picked anybody else, would I also have this sort of, like, I don't trust him type of, attitude? Or would I be a little bit more trusting or kind of more forthright in some way? Probably does. The glowing scars and molted skin disappear under a layer of clean white cotton. May I ask why you need additional bandages? I clenched my jaw. I knew it would only be a matter of time before he asked about my hands, though the way he does it is strangely roundabout. Yeah, I don't want to tell you. That's a very personal question I don't really want to answer. Is that so? Surely you realize that I can only help you if you tell me what ails you. An involuntarily snort of laughter escapes me. Where would I even begin? Would he even believe me if I told him? No, best to keep my curse to myself for now, and learn more about him first. Who are you? You may call me Karas. Sexy! And where exactly am I? Iridia, which I assume was your caravan's destination. I can think of nowhere else for a group of travelers to go. Iridia. So I made it to the City of Knowledge after all. I should feel relieved, but all I could manage is a vague sense of increasing unease. How did I end up here? I brought you to my clinic, of course. You were the only survivor from the caravan, barely clinging to life. You needed immediate treatment, which you provided. Yes. He says it so simply, as if I'm a small child and he is explaining basic addition to me. That's not easy, so... I frowned and flexed the fingers on my recently healed arm. Aside from being a bit stiff, it feels fine, thoroughly attached to me. You're saying that you stitched my arm back on? Pardon? A soulless attacked the caravan. It ripped everyone to shreds. It tore my arm clean off. But when I woke up here, I trail off bewildered. I've never heard of any magic that could heal a mortal wound like that. What kind of person would do such a thing? The doctor, Karas, pinches the bridge of his nose. He sits back down in his chair, quiet for a long time. I do not know where you come from, but Iridia is a city of knowledge and deadly secrets alike. Information is power, and it is most unwise to give or receive it freely. So why would you... I know you're a doctor and you're like, oh, but I need to help you. But if knowledge is power, knowledge about myself is also power. So kindly leave me alone when it comes to that. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Since you refused to divulge your secrets, I will not divulge mine. I do not even know your name. You are new to Iridia, so I will overlook the specific breach of etiquette. However, you should not expect others to extend the same courtesy. Do you understand? He looks pointedly at my freshly bandaged hands. Loath though I am to admit it, he has a point. I'm also a complete stranger to him, and if he's telling the truth, he saved my life. I take a deep, steadying breath this time when I speak. I sound a bit more like myself. Evan. My name is Evan. It is a pleasure to meet you, Evan. Yeah, that's right. Slay. There's a slight there's a little more warmth in his smile, his polite demeanor back in an instant. Thank you for saving. Why did you say? It's not why, it's thank you. I would be curious if he wasn't a doctor. Like, obviously he's a doctor, so he wants to help people. But if it were anyone else, I think that's when my curiosity would be like, why would you save me? You know, type of thing. I chance a smile in return, even if he won't explain how he did the impossible. There's no doubt in my mind that I'd be dead if not for Karas. Think nothing of it. I'm not sure if he's just being excessively courteous, but his words only raise more urgent questions. But I have to ask, why did you save me? You don't know me. The question seems to startle Karas. I could hardly leave you to die in the wastes. Assisting those in need is the very essence of a doctor's duty. Yeah, like he's just a doctor. I've never met a doctor who also handed out free clothes. My fingers find the edge of the cloak. There's a subtle but delicately embroidered pattern around the hem. I try not to think about what kind of price Karas might ask for such well-made clothes. No, I suppose not. Forgive my presumption, I rarely come across so fascinating a patient. I blink. What did he just say? I simply meant that few would cling to life so resolutely or brave such a perilous journey to Iridia. I could not help being curious about you. His voice dips to a soft murmur, and he abruptly looks away from me. You're pretty curious yourself. Am I? Well, I haven't forgotten about my arm. I wiggle my intact fingers at him. Clearly not. But you haven't asked me for any payment either. I require none from you. Travelers do not have an abundance of a coin, and it would be unethical to leave you destitute in such a strange place. I fall silent, unsure of what to say about that. Nobody would help a whore like me for free. There has to be some sort of catch or trick, right? A loud knock at the door stops our conversation cold and spares me from having to say anything else. Duty calls. Unfortunately, you are not my only patient today. The knocking grows more insistent, and Karas lets out a tired sigh. Please wait your turn. Though he says it quietly, the clamor on the other side of the door abruptly stops. Do you need anything before you leave? Oh. Between the soulless attack and my miraculous survival, I'd almost forgotten why I came to Iridia in the first place. I need directions to the cenobium. The cenobium? The look on his face is downright chilling. He pauses, choosing his words with cold deliberation when he speaks again. Whatever you seek, it is very unlikely you will find it there. The cenobium gates open for precious few visitors. Even if they did, you would not like what you found inside. My heart sinks. Is he saying that I came all this way for nothing? Risk life and limb for nothing? No, that can't be. I've only just survived, and Iridia is the largest city still standing. There has to be a cure for me here. Then if not the cenobium, where would you suggest? Do you know anyone else in Iridia? I shake my head. Then I suggest a local guide. Head to the West Wick and ask for Leander. Excuse me, the wet wick. He sounds deeply unamused. All the postings advertising Leander's bloodhounds. They're difficult to miss. When you meet Leander, tell him I sent you. That isn't much to go on, but Karas points towards the clinic's back door. You'll be safe so long as you do not draw attention to yourself. That's easier said than done. I've always been a magnet for the worst sort of attention. If you require my assistance, you may return whenever you wish. Though he's smiling, there's a note of finality in his voice. Resigned to my dismissal, I slip out the back door. Finality in what way? That he's done seeing me now, or done seeing me, like, forever? Like, he doesn't want to see me again? I'd like to know. I find myself standing in a narrow and rather gloomy alley. I pull the new cloak up over my nose, stepping over the contents of chamber pots that have been emptied out to the street. No! There's no toilets? I have to shit in a bucket? Something weighs heavily inside of one of my cloak's pockets, my coin purse. Everything is still inside, every last coin I'd scraped together for the journey to Iridia. It doesn't even look like it was open. There were so few coins to begin with, they probably weren't worth stealing. Damn, I really don't trust nobody, but I mean, I would too. Like, I would be wary of someone touching it, but I wouldn't be like, I'm just so poor. Dude, if I see $1, I'm taking the dollar, okay? I'm not that pathetic that no one wants my dollar. I glance back at the clinic's closed door. Karas didn't take any payment. He didn't even ask for a future favor, but he also said that in Iridia, secrets are power. Does he accept me to give up mine at some point? That's not exactly a comforting thought. Still, no matter why he did it, Karas gave me a second chance and a lead on where I might find help. I better get going. Before he changes his mind, I squeeze out of the alley and into the crowded main street. The line outside Karas's clinic stretches down the road already. Two thin peddlers queue alongside weathered elders. If any place is in desperate need of a free clinic, it's this one. The cobblestones are treacherously rough under my feet, deep grooves worn between them by regular flooding and decades of hard use. So he gave me clothes but not shoes. I knew Iridia was a river city, but I didn't expect it to look so eroded. The buildings are tired and dilapidated, all cramming together in narrow streets. A child darts by, clutching something greasily wrapped in paper. The smell of fried food drifts over to me. My stomach gives a faint gurgle. This morning's catch, fried up, hot and fresh. Not too many eyeballs today. That sounds disgusting, but I'm starving, so I duck my head in under the stall's grubby awning. A large fish leers up at me, its three bulging eyes still visible through the thick layer of crispy batter. The vendor gives me a gap-toothed grin. What's the cheapest thing you got? The vendor points at the meal basket of what looks like long strips of savory fried dough. Fresh long, lads. 3 copper apiece. Don't burn your mouth. I take the coins out, counting them gingerly. At this rate, I might not be able to afford dinner. Reluctantly, I drop the payment on the counter and take my meal. 2 streets later, I pass under a wrought iron archway adorned with dangling garlands of red and pink lilies. The buildings in this quarter are dizzying right of color, painted walls, and tinted glass everywhere I look. Sheer red and pink curtains flutter in the open doorways. Musical voices call out invitingly. Incense mingles with the pungent scents of flowers, barely covering the salt and musk of warm bodies. This must be Iridia's entertainment district. I'm polishing off my food and dusting the crumbs from my hands when I spot a poster. It features the silhouette of a smiling man wearing a single dagger-like earring and the word Bloodhounds printed above his head. A motto, as above, so below, circles the artwork. Love that movie. If Leander is the leader of the Bloodhounds, then the fate printed on the poster is likely his. I follow the line of identical posters around a corner and nearly hit my head on a precariously dangling wooden sign. Looking up, faded orange letters read, "The West Wick." The facade of the building looks like it's seen better days, but I hear faint music and laughter coming from inside. Ooh. The inside of the bar is a far cry from the abandoned exterior. It's not even midday, yet most of the tables and booths are occupied by a loose assembly of people in matching green cloaks. There's a lot you can tell about a city by its dives. This one seems ordinary enough, even if the uniforms are unreasonable. A curious glance doesn't turn up anyone with a dagger-shaped earring. I'm about to head towards the corner when a chant rises from the center of the room. Show, show, show. The remaining green cloaks abandon the bar and their booths to rush towards the center of the room and set in torrent. There's no time to move out of the way. I'm caught, swept along in the ale-stenched current. Hey! Rhythmic chanting drowns out my voice. I thrash through, throwing my elbows as the press of bodies grows heavier. My hip knocks into a table. I grip it, holding on tight to steady myself, but the crowd is stilled. The chanting stopped. A pair of gilded boots stride across the tabletop. Is he hot? Oh, it's this guy. Seriously, you dogs again? Scattered laughter and cheers rise from the audience. I drag my eyes upwards. And he is pretty. A well-dressed man stands on the table in front of me, his broad shoulders framed by thick lapels of a trench coat. This really is the last time, alright. This time, when he speaks, the audience falls silent, as though bewitched by his magnetic presence or rich, low voice. What do you mean? That's it? That's all you find attractive about him? But nothing is as captivating as his smile. He beams at the crowd around him, a performer on his makeshift stage. Don't blink or you'll miss it. He laughs as the dagger-shaped earring dangling from his left ear catches the light in a flash of gold. It would seem I found Neander. He raises his hand above the audience and snaps. A flash of pale green light, real magic. No ordinary stage trick blinds me. Okay, yeah, Jesus, that's right. As the brilliance ebbs, my gaze refocuses on the mage towering above me. He flicks his wrists and the magic spiraling around him coalesces. A delicate flower stem sprouts from between his pinched fingers. One by one, glowing lily petals spring forth. With a flourish, the mage presents the conjured flowers. The audience bursts into clapping and cheers. A genuine magic show was the last thing I expected from a place called the Wet Wick. Leander plucks the iridescent bouquet out of the thin air and turns in a slow circle, giving his audience a good look. Now who could use some good luck? Eager onlookers scoot closer to the table. Some reach for the lilies while others whistle and call Leander's name. But his cold green eyes slide right over them, locking on me instead. Oh my god, okay. How about you? My chest tightens. Every person gathered turns to stare at me. Take 'em! I need luck. I reach out, all too aware of the way my fingers tremble as I carefully take the flowers from him. There's no weight to them, only a faint warmth that radiates from the stems. As soon as the flowers leave Leander's hand, their light dims. They fade away in a shower of opalescent light. To my surprise, Leander laughs under his breath. That's the problem with flowers. They don't last long, but they leave an impression, right? He grins at me, and I find myself smiling back. Is he flirting with me? Probably not. Leander steps off the table, dropping among the excited crowd in an audible clink. Alright, bloodhounds, get back to your drinks. Show's over. The green cloaks disperse at the command, returning to their tables and booths. Oh my god, he looked at me! Before I can make my way towards Leander, his eyes find me. He gives me a friendly wave, then beckons me over to the crowded counter. I manage to squeeze beside him, but there's so little room that his broad shoulders presses against mine. I tense, but he doesn't seem to mind at all. Is this your first time in Iridia? He says it lightly, with a genuine air of curiosity. Do I stick out that much? No, but I'm certain I'd remember seeing a face as lovely as yours around Lowtown. I'm gonna... you better not be playing me right now, or I'm going to beat your socks off. My eyes flicker to the polished countertop. I'm not used to flattery, and being this close makes eye contact difficult. It's the autism, I'm sorry. As if on cue, the bartender approaches us. What can I get you? Surprise me, and add anything my friend wants to my tab. Oh my god.
Hi, can I take your order?
55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tacos, 55 pies, 55 cokes, 100 tater tots, 100 pizzas, 100 tenders, 100 meatballs, 100 coffees, 55 wings, 55 shakes, 55 pancakes, 55 pasta, 55 peppers, and 155 taters.
Okay, that'll be $680.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting the generosity, but I have to admit I do feel a little thirsty after all that fried dough. I'll have whatever he's having. I had a long day. While the bartender leaves to fix our drinks, Leander leans his elbows on the counter. I'm close enough to notice the purple shadows under his lower lids. Bro is tired. His eyes wander over me in return, but when they lock on my bandaged hands, a sour taste rises in my mouth. Here comes the questions. So what brings you to the Wick? Karas sent me. He pushes his hair back from his forehead, but it immediately falls right back into place. He does not... Look at his face. He does not look happy that I said that man's name. So it's about work. Oh, no! 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 We can still be together. You were one of my first picks when I saw the characters. The bartender returns with a pair of glasses filled with what I can only assume is beer. I raise my glass and give it an experimental sniff. It smells faintly yeasty, but with an undercurrent I can't quite place. A quick sip confirms my worst suspicions. It's awful. Somehow briny and sour in a way that reminds me of pickle. Hey, this is not me. I love pickles. I do love pickles. And I do not like beer. I like apple. There's like apple beer, and it sort of tastes like, if you had like sparkling apple water, but obviously not that sweet, because it's really difficult to get beer to taste sweet because it's yeasty. But I love pickles. But any thought of complaining dies the moment I look up and see Leander taking a deep swig from his glass. He lets out a satisfied breath. He's so pretty, but I'm looking at two things, baby, and it's called plot. How can I be of assistance? He's still nice. I need to get to the cenobium. Oh god, as the word cenobium leaves my mouth, the entire bar files. Fuck, I ruined it! Bloodhounds twist around in their seats to gawk openly. Finally, an especially drunk one speaks up. The hell are you bringing up the cenobium in here? Throw them out. This is bloodhound territory. Okay, so they're enemies. The vitriol catches me off. I'm guessing... It's clear I've broken some unspoken rule by mentioning the cenobium. I'm guessing that... Well, obviously. He's probably like... Not like a mercenary, but like a mercenary to the public. He probably helps a lot of people. And... I'm guessing the cenobium is really bad because they don't actually help people. When I glance at Leander, he's drinking as though he hasn't noticed the uproar. Only when he catches me looking does he lower his glass. For the love... He drags a hand down his face. Hey, keep it down, will you? This is business. I tense, expecting an argument, but the outspoken bloodhounds silently return to their drinks. Only a handful continue to watch me warily. Sorry about them. The cenobium's a bit of a touchy subject in these parts. Mix in enough drinks and well, you saw. How about we continue this outside? No, okay. When I give him a terse nod, he pushes away from the bar counter, and his boobs bounce boobily as he trots out. I follow Leander to an alleyway tucked behind the wet wick, where layers of the frayed bloodhounds posters have been plastered to the walls. Seeing them side by side, the resemblance between Leander and his likeness on the posters is impressive. Karas didn't send you here for help with the cenobium, did he? From the look he gives me, he already knows the answer. I glance away. No, he didn't. He suggested I find an alternative. Yet here you are, asking about them anyway. What do you need the cenobium for? I don't want to tell him about my curse. The less people know about my capabilities, the better. Thankfully, Leander takes my reluctant silence as an answer. Well, I see you're already aware of the city's currency. Information's worth its weight in gold here. Karas told you the truth. The cenobium's dangerous. Get on their bad side and they'll imprison you if you're lucky, or torture if you're not. But the cenobium's supposed to be a place of learning. Sanctuary. The cenobium has always been heralded as the last bastion of human knowledge, a shining beacon of hope in a world steeped in nightmares. If any place held answers, it would be the cenobium. That's why I came here. That's what they want you to think. But things that seem too good to be true are often just that. Such a simple statement, and yet it leaves me reeling. If it's true, if I staked everything on a lie, then what now? Leander clears his throat. But as I always say, there are solutions to every problem, and alternatives to every solution. He claps his hands and turns to me with a brilliant smile. That's why Karas pointed you to the bloodhounds. Let us help you. Whether it's hunting soulless, finding people, or recovering stolen valuables, we can do it all, and free of charge. Oh my god, just kiss me now. I'm sorry, he can't keep looking at me. I'm shaking my head before he's even finished his practice speech. My patience is wearing dangerously thin. Listen, I appreciate the offer, but my problem can't be solved by a group of good Samaritans. To my jargon, Leander nods slowly. Then your problem must be fairly serious, and if the cenobium's your first choice, you're searching for a magical solution, aren't you? When my eyes widen, he nods along, as though he suspected all along. I'd be happy to help you out. That is, if you tell me what ails you. Leander might work for the cenobium, but he is a mage, and a powerful one at that, if his demonstration earlier is any indication. I'm silent, plagued by indecision. I don't know if I can trust him, but it's not like I have any alternatives. I trust him with my life. I trust him with every single seed that I have in me, okay? He can have all my children. I hate to admit it, but this could be my only path forward. My confession comes out in a pained whisper. I'm cursed. Oh, sorry. I'm cursed. Cursed. And now I'm very curious. What kind of curse? Something ancestral or more recent? He looks me up and down, taking in my face, my eyes, and finally my hands. It's your hands, isn't it? It's quite obvious that it is my hands. I know I can't touch anybody, but can tattoo artists touch me because they wear gloves and they put a lot of safety gear into it? So I can get them tattooed to make them look really sick and really cool to look at, even if they're cursed. Because, like, if the curse goes away, the tattoos will stay and I'll still look fire. I wait until I'm certain my voice will remain steady before answering. My touch is dangerous. It changes people. Hurts them. Before I finish, Leander begins taking his glove off. He tugs his left hand free and flexes his fingers. Let's see it. He offers me his hand, and a prismatic flash of magic ripples across his palm, but I'm already shrinking backwards. I can't. I don't care how confident Leander is, I can't bring myself to hurt him, to see his kind face twist into a mask of madness. Believe me, this isn't an ordinary curse. I'll be fine. Perhaps where you came from, your affliction was strange and one of a kind. But spending a year in the city, you'll see 1,000 curses and thrice as many cures. Do you really think Karas would send you here if I couldn't handle it? How should I know? I only met him today. I'm as good as any mage in the Cenobium. Better even. If they can help, so can I. You don't know what you're asking me. I'm asking you to trust me. I trust you? Damn it! I should have picked someone who wasn't betrayed! I look from Leander's outstretched hand to his confident smile. Then with a short breath, I begin unwinding the bandages from my hand. He's gonna be like, whoa, I've never seen a curse like that before. I can't help you. And then I'm gonna cry, because this is what everyone's gonna tell me, because it's what always happens. Fine, but if you lose control, don't say I didn't warn you. Oh no! Oh my god! 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 He cannot just say that. You can't say that to me and then blush like that. I'm gonna. Oh my god! I need water. I need water. You can tie me up first if it makes you feel better. Do you want to go somewhere privately? With each joint I expose, I grow more and more certain that this is a terrible idea. Ready when you are. I'm gonna cry. I don't want him to die. Well, he's not gonna die because it's too early, but if he's bothered by the way my hand looks, he doesn't show it. My fingers hover shakily over his palm. 3, 2, 1. I'm touching him. I tap his palm once, as quickly as possible. It's barely more than a brush, but that's all it ever takes. When I look at his face, expecting to see the worst, Leander only grins. See? Oh my god. He can't look at me like... They knew what they were doing. They were like, here, have the 2 nicest people you'll ever meet on planet Earth, and you'll love them immediately, especially this guy. And then you meet, like, the other people, and you're, like, intrigued, because you're like he's obviously, like, well, so far, like, the best choice. Like, there's always, like, the best safe choice, and there's, like, the other people who are probably more complicated. Not saying that he's not complicated. We don't know anything about him. But in comparison, he might be easier than other people who might judge me or might think of me in, you know, in a different way. See? It can't be. This time when I reach out to touch Leander's palm again, he catches my wrist before I can pull away. I told you, there's really nothing to worry about. He can't do this to me. So he immediately liked me when I came into that bar. He was like, oh my god, we're gonna get a drink, I'm gonna talk. You know, the Riz Master over here was gonna talk to me the way he's talking to me now. The music that's playing right now, I won't be able to play it. But let me tell you, it's making me feel a certain way about him. It's giving me in a vibe where, like, you know, the music just tells you really, like, a lot about either, like, a character or a place or an event that's happening, and it is speaking my language. He trails off when my thumb brushes the soft skin of his inner wrist. I search Leander's face for traces of madness, but his eyes remain clear, soft green. Color rises in his cheeks, but he remains still, except for the subtle bobbing of his throat. I'm gonna I'm a dream about you tonight, baby. Neither of us speak as I trace the contours of Leander's palm, lost in an awareness I wasn't prepared for. I could imagine not being able to touch anybody. Like, not only do you feel plagued and kind of like an outsider because people don't like you for you being cursed. People don't want to touch you or have any contact with you because you're cursed. And so why would romance or even friendship, especially after being betrayed, why would that be on your mind? And then having this person who clearly likes you in some capacity and you're able to touch them and you don't have to have that fear of like, oh my god. Like, he's like went through every fear that this character that I've like had and been able to kind of put all of it to a rest. And what sucks is because he's probably a good, safe choice, he's probably going to be one of the first people that makes me realize that it's okay. Like, I don't know how the other characters are going to respond to my ailment. But I hope that made sense. I also hope that it's not going to be as difficult, but it might be difficult or different for the other characters to see what is wrong with me. Oh, I've been with other people, kissed them, been embraced by them, and more, but not like this. My fingers, long deprived of years of bandaging, pick up every single detail, the grooves of his palm, the smooth shell of his nails, the pulse of his heart. For as long as I've lived, I've never been able to hold someone's hand, not without dire consequences. I never realized what I was missing until this moment. While Leander's pulse is steady, mine is hammering as fear gives way to excitement. So no, I'm gonna keep going, unless he tells me to stop. My hand glides over Leander's wrist and up his forearm, where smooth skin abruptly gives way to the raised scar by the edge of his sleeve. It matches the one that runs from his collar to cheekbone. Could it be the same wound? I glance at Leander's face and his lips part as he considers his words before speaking. Am I the first person you've been able to touch like this? My hand goes still on his arm. So far. I'll admit your touch does make it somewhat difficult to stay level-headed, but not due to your power. He takes my hand. Oh, I'm sorry. This has got me like twirling my hair. I got that dog in me. His soft green eyes flick to mine before he turns it to inspect the golden fissures crisscrossing my knuckles. Look, we match. He pokes at the golden pin on his coat collar, and I give him a small smile. Even if I don't choose him as a romantic partner, I really hope that we could be friends. Like, I hope that this is not just like surface level. We like each other, but like he cares for me type of thing. I draw my hand back and take a steadying breath. My head feels as though it's stuffed with cotton. Habit alone guides me through the motions of rewrapping my hands, although my fingers tremble too much for the bandages to lie flat. I can't believe that worked. May I ask your name? I'm Evan. Yeah, that's right. Say my name in your dreams, baby. You were right to hide this from me. That curse of yours, it's unlike anything I've ever dealt with. Oh, great. So exactly what I said was gonna happen. I can tell you're discreet, but you'd be best not showing off that to anyone else. Well, now you see. I didn't plan on it. Are you staying in Lowtown? I pause. Room and board was something I hadn't yet considered. I don't know. I'm broke. Let's get you a properly settled then. Oh my god. And we were roommates. No, it's probably not gonna happen. The wet wick is noticeably quieter. Without their leader, most of the bloodhounds have dispersed, or in a few cases fallen asleep beside their drinks. Got any rooms left, or did my luck grab them all to sleep it off? Bartender, who I now realize doubles as an innkeeper, slides a key onto the counter. You know I always keep the corner room open for your escapade. No! He's a whore! Leander's laugh sounds slightly strained. And I always appreciate it, but you're mistaken. This is for my friend. Okay, I'm not just your simple bitch. Sure. Stay as long as you like. You two have fun. Escapades, huh? Leander clears his throat, then holds the key out to me. But I hesitate. My coin purse barely holds enough for a day's worth of meals, let alone a room. How much do I owe you? Nothing. Bloodhound rates. My treat, since you shared your secret. Food, drink, and a warm bed. Anything you need. Can I have shoes? Do I have shoes? I take the key from him It's small, but weighs heavy in my palm. I never expected to have a warm bed in Iridia, let alone free meals. I planned to steal whatever I needed to get by, no matter how dangerous. just like leaving a store and I have like just 8 bottles of stuff just shoved up my ass. Thank you. Go explore, Evan. You'll miss many roads in Iridia, each leading to different answers. But if you need a reprieve from what haunts you, come find me. Yeah. Just be careful. I'd ask how long I can stay there. Is it just for one night? I nod, taking one last look at the gleaming bronze key before tucking it into the pocket of my cloak for safekeeping. Leander gives me one last friendly wave before I depart. I do like that it's called the Wet Wick, because it implies that, like, they help people who can't help themselves, right? And you can't light a wick that is wet, so they're like the places, the Wet Wick, where the bloodhounds go, so they take care of people who can't help themselves because of the fact that they're wet, you know. The sunless streets look barren and bleak. Yeah, it's empty. Even the peddlers are long gone. Only a pair of crows remain quibbling over stale crusts in a gutter. I feel a ridiculous pang of envy. At least they've got a reason to fight. I've never felt so lost. Karas and Leander both made it clear that Cenobium can't be trusted, but I came so far, endured so much. I need to see the Cenobium for myself, if only to satisfy my curiosity. I should have asked someone at the bar for directions before leaving. They would have stabbed you, okay? I'm about to turn back when a shadow passes over me. Cloud, I think, until a puff of hot breath tickles the back of my neck. The shadow runs down the street in rivulets. Formless dark spreads like ink into blotless shapes. Claws stretch. A muzzle splits open to reveal long, jagged teeth. The growl rumbles so low and deep I can feel it. I want to run, to scream, but I feel trapped, as though the slightest movement or a single breath would snap the jaws around me shut. No, I won't let it end like this. If I'm gonna die, I want to see what got me first. I steel myself, then turn. The shadow vanishes as quickly as it came. I'm left standing in the middle of the street alone, except for a figure reclining in the shade of a nearby stoop. Oh, I figured. A monster. That much is clear for my glance. One that could nearly be mistaken for human were it not for the tufted ears, the tail curled around his ankle, or the dusk pink eyes with pupils that sharpen like needles when they fall on me. Our eyes meet and the monster uncrosses his long legs. His hair gleams a shade of red that reminds me instantly of blood where it curls around his collar throat. Jumpy, aren't you? His tone is so light and carefree that I glance over my shoulder to make sure he's speaking to me. When I look back, the stranger props his chin on his knuckles and regards me with an inscrutable little smile. Didn't you see that shadow just now? It was massive, moved like a beast. Even as I speak, I'm aware of how ridiculous I must sound, but the stranger's smile doesn't falter. The only beasts I've seen are the Wick's drooling regulars, though this did catch my eye. Oh no, damn it! With the flourish of my my in-room key appears dangling from his finger. It turns on its chain, glittering when it catches the light. My hands fly to my cloak's pocket and sure enough find them flat. He crooks his finger, beckoning. I've already taken 2 steps forward before some stifled instinct stops me. Something feels wrong. I'm still on edge, thrumming with so much adrenaline, the stranger's shadow flickers at the edges of my vision. I always attract the worst kind of attention, but I can't get rattled now. He knows it's my key. He knows it's my key. Okay, it was in my pocket. No. Where did you find that? Maybe I dropped it. How'd you even find it? The key, I mean. What can I say? I'm a sucker for shiny things. He smiles wide enough to reveal pointed canines. I saw you drop it. You really should be more careful. City like this, somebody might take advantage. I was about to say, he better not be like, you're sleeping with him? I want him. Cause, whatever. A bald-faced lie said without a hint of irony. I didn't drop my key, and I didn't sense any magic either. He must have stolen it somehow. He probably moves with shadow. If the shadow is what got me, obviously you can either shapeshift or he has shadowy power or whatever. I approach the man, careful to keep an arm's length away. He doesn't look dangerous, but the most deadly ones never do. Yeah. The stranger's chain softly clinks with the tilt of his head. His ears flick. Keeping your distance? Well, I mean, I don't know you. Until I figure out how you managed to rob me? Yeah, I am. You think I stole your dinky little key from all the way over here? He gives an exaggerated sigh. I'm good with my hands, but not that good. Do I really look like a common thief to you? He's got me there. The sheer fabric of his sleeves alone would be too expensive for most street thieves. Hell, his shoes look like they cost more than I spent traveling here. And then there's the shop behind him. No matter the city, parted pink curtains only ever mean one thing. I'm not looking to buy, and I doubt I could afford your services anyway. Can I get my key back? Luckily for you, I don't charge. The man runs the tip of his tongue over a fang, and for the first time since I stepped into the shadow, I feel something other than dread. My face grows hot. Is he a vampire? That's not what I meant. I'm flattered, really. Were my sex trade, I might make an exception for you. How about a half off for a handy? Were sex my trade, I might make an exception. So he doesn't do that. I'm guessing. Way to assume. You're like, you're rich and you're hot. Or you could just hand over my key. Ask nicely and I might even let you tug my tail. Just throw it here. So some spindy little street urchin can snatch it and run. He raises my key and tilts his head so he can watch it dangle back and forth. I suppose I could just claim your room for myself. Not that I'd be caught slumming with the wick with the rest of those slack-jawed imbeciles. So he does... Okay. He doesn't know... Well, obviously, I don't think it has the number on it. But I thought it did. Because if it had the number, then he might be aware of Leander's escapades. But why is he messing with me? You're obviously not from around here, so tell me, traveler, what misfortune brought you to this wretched place? His voice practically drips with derision. I'm not telling you anything. What could have possibly drawn you to this dreary little pig pen, I wonder? He listlessly watches the arc of my key swinging around his finger. The weather's shit, the food's dreck, and there's entirely too many monsters for a human to feel safe. Unless... Dagger-sharp eyes flick towards me, they gleam with amusement. Unless you're just not dying to consort with monsters. And now my embarrassment has worn away, leaving simmering impatience in its place. If this was a shakedown, it's the most frustrating one I've... Okay. By this point... You know when you're just pushed to the point where you're like, I don't care. I don't care anymore. I don't care. That's me right now. If he don't give my key back by a couple of things, guess what? I'm just walking away. I'm leaving. I'm like, you can have my key. I don't care. Like, I don't care. And then I'm telling Leander, this guy just robbed me of my key. Help me. Well, you know what I mean? Like, Jesus. I don't know. I'm not good at flirting, so I don't know if my character is good at flirting. But not only just that, I don't think he's gonna give me my key back. Damn it. I don't know if flirting's gonna work. Okay, hold on. Unless you're dying to consort with monsters. No. Are you done, or do you plan on flirting with me until the night falls? He touches his chest in mock affront. You wound me. How can you be so mean to my charms? Because you're a dick! You're about as charming as an ox and half as subtle. I suggest you go practice your seduction on someone interested. That earns me a bust of breathy laughter. How about you teach me the ropes? Show me a thing or two. The more he flirts, the more convincing. I didn't know this was flirting. I thought he was just being an asshole. Is this what flirting is? Just being a dickhead? No matter how innocent monsters look, they always have tricks up their sleeves. And something tells me that this one's more dangerous than he lets on, even if he has a lovely laugh. I don't know what you want or why you're messing with me, but I'm not coming any closer until I know you're not going to attack or bite. I won't bite hard unless you beg me. No matter what I say, he finds a way to twist my words into innuendo. Even when I'm silent, he goes on as though we're having a conversation, not a standoff. Do you like dancing? There's a traveling troupe performing in Hightown tonight. Their ludus is utterly exquisite, truly a performance to die for. There's life in this dreadful place if you know where to look. You sound like you know the city well. The man gazes, flickers from me to the key dangling from his finger. Naturally, this dump is a little more than a miserable little smear when I first arrived. High town, low town, I know Iridia like the back of my hand. What about the Cenobium? Do you know where that is? His smile. And no one likes that place. Surely you've seen it, that absurdly large tower looming over the rest. It's a little hard to miss. You must mean the spire I noticed when I first caught sight of Iridia. The Cenobium's overrated, forget about it. I can show you things those stuffy boars in their limp dick tower couldn't even dream of. I've already got plans. Oh, have you some pressing matters at the Cenobium? Lunch dates with librarians, tea time with the most esteemed Bess. That's my business. What's it matter to you? I spare my shoulders at the amusement, and the amusement bleeds out of him. Your loss. The stranger, finally bored of his tedious game, extends his hand towards me. The key rests on my palm, neatly dividing skin and leather. When he makes no other move, I reach for the key. But as soon as my fingers graze over smooth brass, his hand springs shut around my elbow. Oh, great. I was about to say, I'm not going to continue. I'm going to say what I want to say before, because let me judge you, okay? I don't know if this game is going to pull those things where they have like the obvious choice that you should go with, and then they have the other people that are just like kind of dickheads the whole time, and you're supposed to like them or be interested in them, because he's annoying. I thought he was cute in the trailer. He's annoying. Maybe later he's gonna apologize for it, or I'll figure out why he's doing that, but right now he's so irritating that I don't really care. So unless he's gonna say something very nice, or he's gonna change his attitude later, right now I don't like him. I don't even know. Does he have a name? He yanks me down and I stagger. My soul's dipping into the my soul's. Do I have shoes or is my bare feet? For a sick moment, I fear my bandages will unravel under his touch, but he's careful not to disturb them even as his fingers dig into my arm. I knew I smelled blood. You reek of death and the road. And that fucking doctor. His voice, one silken, lowers to a smoky growl. The shadows around him seethe and boil as he pulls me closer. And something else. He murmurs against my throat, nose grazing my jaw. Let go. I try to twist away, but he doesn't budge. His breath trails down my neck, sending a thrill of dread through me. But just when I fear he'll bite, he takes a deep whiff instead. His wide, flat eyes gleam with naked hunger as he gazes up at me. Not quite human, not quite monster. It seems we're both Ver? Is that his name? The stranger's ear flattened and he releases me with a short breath. I yank my arm back, massaging it where his grip leaves grooves in the bandages. The stranger twists around to watch a woman duck out from the curtains behind him. Her pressed uniform bears the insignias of the Cenobium. I leave you all for, what, 10 minutes and you're making trouble again? Will you quit harassing the tourists? So he's from the Cenobium. The stranger, Ver, I take it, holds his eyes and flashes the cleric a withering smile. So suspicious. Can't you see this is a friend of mine? A natural liar, he grins at me and his tail swishes minutely. The woman purses her lips at me, clearly unconvinced. I open my mouth to correct him, but Ver cuts in. I was graciously offered my dear friend some free advice. Though his voice remains light and cheerful, his expression darkens. Dangers run to you like a moth to a flame. It will always find you given time. The woman clucks her tongue as though she's heard this recital 102 times. Word of advice, don't take free advice from lazy foxes lounging in the streets. This crook would sell water to a drowning man for the sheer enjoyment of it. She shrugs off a wilting look from there. Oh please, any friend of yours knows it's true. Now hold still. Is it Ver or Vere? I'll say Ver. Ver rises gracefully at her approach. He punches his hair aside so it drapes over one shoulder, exposing the long line of his neck. And suddenly, it dawns on me that the jingling I heard earlier wasn't coming from the harness attached to the collar, but a leash. A heavy iron chain wound around a hitching post and padlocked to the back of his collar. Ver posed deliberately to hide his leash from me. The woman produces a keyring from her pocket. She rifles through a dozen identical keys before selecting one and slotting it into the lock. Come on, unless your friend's tagging along your merry little soulless hunt. They're hunting for solace inside the city. Words momentarily fail me. The woman regards me with a polite, if tight smile before marching down the stairs. Very lingers. He stretches his arm over his head with a yawn. I try not to stare at the way his stomach flattens when he arches his back. No! Stop looking at his arched back. He's a piece of shit. Your little secret's safe with me, and try not to get you killed, Barry hops off the stoop and bounds after the woman. His tail sways merrily as though he hadn't just lied and threatened me. Did you try that thing I mentioned? I don't know how to say that. That's the one where you take 3 fingers and actually don't tell me, knowing you it's disgusting. Barry's airy laughter echoes down the street. It's only after he and the cleric have vanished from sight that I realize I'm missing something. Reflexively show my hands into my pocket and find it. Okay, he put it in my pocket. I ease the key from my pocket and smooth my thumb over its teeth as I try to recall the touch, or tell of any hint of Barry's sleight of hand, but I can't figure out how he did it. All I know for certain that the cenobium saw fit to leash him. A fate I could share if that's what his vague warning meant. I let my eyes drift skyward past the lanterns gently swaying in the breeze to the cenobium faintly visible through the haze. Just one glimpse is all I need, and I can put all this behind me. This time the key goes into my coin purse for safekeeping. I get it, but why am I so incessant on going to this place that everyone's like, don't go there, it's kind of shitty. And I'm like, but let me just look at it. I don't want it. It's easy enough to follow the sluggish river that splits Iridia in two. A colossal bridge arches over the dark water below. I cross as quickly as I can, climbing ever uphill toward the distant tower. Hours later, legs aching, sweat bending on my forearm, I finally found what I was searching for. The cenobium of the luminous void. Why would I want to go here? It stands at the highest point of Iridia, surrounded by cold white walls. Well-dressed people stroll down the walkways, paying no attention to the massive tower in their midst. I'm the only one standing before the gates. I crane my neck up and up until the top of the cenobium tower disappears into the clouds overhead. I frown up at the gates, wondering what horrible traps they might contain. Despite their delicate beauty, there must be more to them that meets the eye. Knocking seems like a terrible idea, but I don't see other way of making my presence known. I'm halfway up the stairs when something moves in my peripheral vision. Oh, this is the one I liked from the trailer. Other than Leander. A shadowy figure crouches beneath one of the white walls. They reach out and tug on a vine, as if testing its strength. Boy, you there. The shadow vanishes as quickly as I spotted it, and a gaunt-faced man in crisp charcoal uniform marches up the step towards me. Another tourist. Get out of here once you're done gawking. A dismissive wave accompanies his equally dismissive words as he turns on his heel without even waiting for an answer from me. I look back at where I saw the intruder, but there's nothing, just the leaves blowing gently in the cool breeze. Okay? He's gonna be like, how dare you? I almost made it in. I step away from the gates, hopelessness washing over me. Hello. Ah, great. I whisper so close I can feel the warm brush of breath on my skin. I instinctively jerk away. Too many people are doing this, but there's no one beside me. Halfway down the staircase, I spot a woman swaying in the breeze. She's gaunt as a rail, her blouse moth-eaten. I'm unable to take my eyes off her, not because of the way she smiles a little too widely or the way her tousled braids look unbrushed for days, but because her eyes shine a vibrant, unnatural crimson. I'm both entranced and unsettled by their subtle glow. These days, you'd need a miracle to get in there. I'm unsure how to respond, or if I even should. I'm saying nothing. After the experience I've just had, I'm not too keen on indulging a strangers with small talk. Despite my silence, she maintains her unflinching stare and smile. Lucky for you, I have miracles for free. Whatever she's selling, I'm not interested. My words come out in a tired breath. No thanks. I start down the stairs, but she abruptly steps into my path. She turns her back to me, and before I can react, she slips her fingers under the lacing of her collar, stripping out of her blouse in broad daylight. What are you? As worn fabric unveils bare skin, my panic is smothered by cold horror. A misshapen, sunken scar carves into the woman's body. Pitted, gnarled skin snakes down her shoulders, blooming from a gaping hole into the back of her neck. A shuddering breath escapes me. The fuck? Whatever disease this woman had ate away at her from the inside out. How is she able to move or breathe? It's impossible. She shouldn't be alive, and yet. The power to cure anything can be yours too. The power of Sea Spring. The woman slides back into her blouse and deftly laces it up. If I've caught your interest, then follow me. It's only a short walk away. Without another glance, she leisurely strolls down the cenobium stairs, loose braids bobbing behind her. The edge of her scar peeks out from under her collar. I stand there, wordless, until I manage to regain my bearings. It's a twisted miracle, but a miracle nonetheless. This could be the stupidest decision of my life, but what choice do I have? I take a final look at the cenobium's shut gates and follow her down the steps. We descend from the higher streets, leaving behind their gilded decadence as we cross the river. The wet, derelict street districts feel more familiar to me, but the crimson-eyed woman takes me farther, then farther still, until I'm met with an all-too-familiar sight. My gut lurches when I face the open horizon. The city's outskirts are hardly recognizable in daylight, and probably safer for it, but venturing beyond Iridia's walls is a gamble I wasn't prepared to take so soon. Keep going straight, and the Sea Spring will reveal itself to you. Bark out a bitter laugh, loud and involuntary. This is a setup. I've fallen for this already. Not that I'm proud of it, but I know a setup when I see one. I barely have enough coin for a meal for what it's worth. If I wanted your coin, I would already have it. She says it so lightly I almost believe her, even if she looks as physically capable as a toothpick. You're as safe inside the city as outside of it. Truthfully, the territory before you is the safest of all. What do you mean, territory? This region belongs to Ice. Most people know him as a gang leader, but he's much more than that. I squint against the empty wastelands. Only a fool or someone with nothing to lose would leave the city. Apparently I'm both. But if the Sea Spring cured her, I need to see what it can do for me. I set off into the wastelands. Over my shoulder, the one calls for me. Good luck, Evan. I hope we meet again. My heart pounds with each step I take from civilization. She knew my name. For what it seems like eternity, I force each foot forward, one step then another, until the realization hits me. I never told the woman my name. Bro, she's a woman with like a hole in her, alright? I'm not gonna be that concerned. Something pierces the horizon ahead of me. A building nestled into a tall cliffside, but so starkly out of place it might as well be a hallucination. It drips with extravagance and honeyed mahogany, an ornate jewel of architecture. A row of dark silhouettes stand out in the horizon. Trees, I think, until I'm close enough to realize what I mistook for branches were spikes and then jutting tendrils. Soulless, several of them, watch me in the distance like statues. I don't think I just run. Exploding into a messy sprint, I push my legs as fast as they'll take me towards that decorated building. Flashes of last night chase me, the gushes of blood and screams of death, the smell of burning flesh and sour bile. I can't go through that again. I won't. The next thing I know, I'm dashing up wooden stairs and crashing through the towering double doors. I gasp for air, my lungs burning from exertion. I'm desperate to be safe, but when I process my surroundings, it's more hellscape than sanctuary. Blood flows all around me, overwhelming my vision with its lurid, unholy red. Instinctively, my hand leaps to my mouth. But the rotten stench of blood never comes. Instead, a smoky scent hangs in the air, sharp and spiced. I swallow thickly, convincing myself that it's not as gruesome as it appears. This has to be the sea spring, a place that grants miracles. Pulling my eyes away from the pool, I take rest in the rest of my environment. Tall pillars flank me, blanketed in written notes. Seating pillows scatter the floor. A rustic kettle sits nearby. Someone must live here, despite how eerily empty it is. Hello? Is anyone here? I know I shouldn't have done that, but I mean, if I'm gonna die, I'd rather die now than later. My voice echoes across the cavern without response. I approach the paper-covered pillars. Maybe something here can tell me more. I reach for topmost, the closest most, the bottommost. Topmost. I reach for the note that is higher up. It reads, "No one will read this, but it's not for anyone else. This is evidence I existed in this rotten, grim world. Even so, I wish I could have stayed longer. The bog girl will be lonely without me. I should have told her how I..." The rest is scratched out. I wonder who wrote this. Before I can ponder it further, a sharp chill runs down my spine. Something's watching me. I quickly set the note back, my eyes darting around the wooden deck, but it's still empty, vacant. Finally, I look towards the sea spring. That stillness hides something deeper, something wrong. Hey. I spin around and come face to face with a pack of soulless. They chitter and growl, tendrils and spikes flaring threateningly. All different sizes and species, but sharing one identical trait. Glowing crimson eyes. They're like, this is our house. Try to back away, but my heel teeters over the sea spring. I'm cornered. Watch your step, it's deeper than it looks. That voice again. At the sound of it, the soulless freeze, their snarls quieting. Oh. I search for the voice's source and I find it above me, lounging in the rafters. You look lost, little spirit. Hello. How are you doing? His gaze is a violent crimson, one that sears through me, leaves me feeling raw and exposed. They're the same eyes I've seen over and over, first with the scarred woman, now with the soulless circling me, all bound by the sea spring's blood red. In the shroud of darkness behind him, shapes like massive tentacles twist and coil around the wooden beams. I can't focus. The soulless growls ring in my ears. They're not advancing, but that could change at any second. Panic rises in my throat as I struggle to track them. Hey. Eyes on me. My stomach rolls as I tear my eyes away from the soulless. Don't ignore someone who's talking to you. It's not polite. For a moment, anger knocks my fear aside. Who is this bastard? I'm distracted. The soulless are about to maul me. Only on my command. I scan the soulless again. They really aren't attacking. Posturing more than anything else. You tamed them? Power of the sea spring. They're hungry, so they might bite. You could give me a reason to stop them. How about I didn't do anything wrong? Trespassing. I just noticed I named him Bastard, and that's punishable by death? He gives a non-committal shrug. I called out earlier to see if anyone was here. Were we supposed to play hide and seek? Didn't hear you. My voice stops in my throat. This man's terse coolness is both infuriating and terrifying. I rack my brain for a way to defuse the situation. I need help. Okay, fine. I need help. I thought the sea spring could cure me somehow. My voice wavers pathetically, however... honestly, it's never been my strong suit. He cants his head to the side, appraising me, but doesn't respond. I fidget nervously. I'm telling you I came here for help. Are you listening? Your hands. Alarm shoots through me. I had my hands under my cloak. Show me. Why? Won't ask twice. With a sharp tuft, I reluctantly hold out my bandaged hands. Are you getting off on this? Unwrap them. He rushes to my face and a fire to my tongue. I should give him a piece of my mind, but not when the soulless are on one command from ripping me to shreds. No matter how much I will myself to move, my body is frozen in place. I stand there for a long, agonizing minute. My hands are trembling when I finally raise them. I know the skin beneath the wrappings all too well, the hideous, unnatural flesh I've grown to despise. I grip the edge of the bandages. Stop. Damn. With a weary sigh, the man slides off the beam and lands with a thud that shakes the panels underfoot. So he's just up here. He's just chilling here like a weirdo. He's a monster with an imposing figure that towers over me. I couldn't tell how tall he was before, but he's big. Illuminated by the lantern light, his features are stronger, sharper. Subtle clinks of metal accompany each of his footsteps. The closer he gets to me, the faster my heart hitches. What does he want? Is he going to kill me? I step backwards and find nothing to set my foot on. I'd forgotten my back was to the C-spring. I fall right before a warm hand catches my lower back. Oh, it's like those K-dramas. I'm hovering above the C-spring, the scent of smoke and leather enveloping me. Blazing crimson eyes bore into mine. Told you to watch your step. I'm too stunned to muster a response. Like I weigh nothing, he guides me back to a solid ground and steps back. Following a subtle gesture from his fingers, the soulless around us disperse and relax. The shift of their demeanor is so abrupt it gives me whiplash. The enormous tentacles are no longer in the rafters, though now I doubt I ever saw them at all. Either way, I exhale a breath of relief. Thanks. As focused on me as he was before, the monster pays no attention to me now. He kicks some seating pillows out of the walkways, checks the contents of the kettle with a scowl. The sudden disregard is almost insulting. So that's it. I'm not a threat anymore? Never were one. Then why'd you threaten me? People get honest when they're afraid. In other words, he was messing with me. I drag a hand over my face, exhausted by the fact that this is the second time a monster has provoked me today. You're Ice, aren't you? Depends who's asking. One of your friends told me this was your territory. She said you were a gang leader. But there's no one else here. I thought there'd be more people. Ice picks up the kettle and walks to the edge of the C-spring, then dumps out the contents into the endless red. Gang took a walk. His pleasant smile stretches across his face, ear to ear. Then in an instant it drops. I get the sense that I shouldn't ask about his gang anymore. Something must have happened. I've learned to recognize a real leader when I see one. Ice regrettably fits the type perfectly. He knows how to scare people and expects a mission, but it's uncommon for someone so used to being in power to be so alone. You said you came here for help. Depends. Can the C-spring cure a curse? Probably. You mean you don't know? Nope. He shakes out the empty kettle and starts collecting stray cups, tidying up. My frustration builds. I narrow my eyes at him in questioning glare. When he notices, he returns it with an amused smirk. Are you being irritating on purpose? Listen, Sparrow, the C-spring can cure anything. Nothing's stopping you from trying it yourself. What do I have to do? Drink. I have to drink from the C-spring? My eyes glide to the blood-like pool beside us. The idea of ingesting the strange liquid makes my guts churn. Is there a price? Always. Ice taps his temple with a finger. You lose it a little bit. That's it? Might already beat it to the punch. My humor earns me an amused, fanged grin. This is a little different. When you drink from the C-spring, you forget who you are. Your mind combines with everyone who ever drank before. Humans, monsters, soulless, one big happy family in your head. My blood runs cold. I've heard of these before. Group mind. It's called a hive mind, okay? Like in Hollow Knight? No. I thought they were just rumors. I've heard of whispers of cults performing rituals to bind their members' minds together. It never seemed possible. But something tells me this is real, even if one thing doesn't add up. Your eyes are red too, but you obviously haven't forgotten who you are. Before I can finish my sentence, Ice strides past me towards the entrance. Time's up. Let's finish this later. Wait, already? You barely told me anything. Came on a bad day. I've got somewhere to be. There's still so many questions burning at the tip of my tongue, but my frustration spills out before any of them. I was told to come here for help, but instead I get threatened and kicked out. You're joking, right? Watch your tone. I'm nice, but you don't want to ruin the host's mood. My skin prickles. This feeling of being watched washes over me again. My eyes dart back over to the C-spring. A lone ripple dances on the quiet surface. take Ice's advice and clamp my mouth shut. Ice approaches a nearby Solus, a lanky dog-like one with 6 legs and a crown of tendrils. Several sets of crimson eyes adorn its sides. Its forked tail wags rapidly when Ice squats beside it. He runs his fingers through the tendrils, scratches its chin, and pats his head. A gentle smile plays across Ice's lips. The affection he holds for the Solus is painfully clear. I dip my eyes away, my stomach fluttering at the tender sight. It's getting dark out, so this pretty girl will guide you back. Following a short whistle from Ice's lips, it trots over to the entrance, obediently, tail swaying. I watch the Solus warily. Pretty is not a word I would use to describe it, and the idea of protecting me sounds absurd. If I had to decide to drink, how should I find you? Find someone with eyes like mine, they'll point you in the right direction. But think it over. Once you drink, you can't go back. It's a lot to process, but I give a small nod. At least I know I have another option for a cure, as disturbing as it may be. Even if it, like, let's say it does cure me, right? But, like, I don't get to have the satisfaction of it being cured. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a cure. It is a cure, but not really. If you can't even bask in your cure, then it's not a cure. Like, you know, it's not worth it. There shouldn't be any me questioning if I should go back or not. It's not an option anymore. Like, I obviously care about me being alive, so no. I follow the Solus at a measured distance and watch it nudge the giant doors open with ease. When I'm about to cross the threshold, I sneak one last glance behind me. My heart skips when I meet Aiza's eyes. I'm about to snap my head away, but he just flashes me an easy smile. Till next time, Sparrow. I'll buy you a drink for scaring you. I don't trust myself to do anything but respond with another curt nod. I wouldn't believe him. But since it's a game, I know we're gonna see him again, but I wouldn't believe him. Outside, more crimson-eyed Solus scuttle about. It's hard to believe it's the same threatening pack from before. They chase each other in circles, roll around in the bog's mud. They pay no attention to me as their dog-like one escorts me away. It's an uneventful trip. Sometimes the Solus look over its shoulders at me to make sure I'm still following. Dusk darkens the sky by the time we reach the city. The Solus sits and looks at me expectantly with familiar crimson eyes. I'll pet you. As nervous as I am, I carefully glide my fingers through the Solus's tendrils and scratch behind its chin, just like Ais had. It pushes into my palm in response, rumbling with a sound akin to a purr. The vibrations are soothing, almost healing my fatigue. Vibrations actually do heal your fatigue. Well, they heal you. When it's satisfied, the Solus spins around and scampers back in the direction we came, vanishing into the darkness. It's barely my first day in Iridia, and I've already encountered so many things I'd thought were impossible, tame Solus being one of them. My head spins. Maybe I should call it a day. When are we gonna see that other guy? Nightfall creeps across the streets of Iridia. The city labyrinth, even in daytime, has become a wearing, treacherous alleyways. The streets are completely deserted. If I hadn't been here earlier, I would have thought this part of the city abandoned. I make my way through the winding streets, doing my best to keep my bearing towards the Wetwick. My steps slow when I hear rustling in the dark. I straighten my ears, but everything is still. Is the silence playing tricks on me? Something is wrong. The fine hairs on the back of my neck prickle, a frisson of discomfort running down my spine. Something is wrong. My eyes dart from one side of the street to another, searching for movement, but the shadows are as deep and dark as pools of ink. I see nothing. I can't stay here. I need to reach a busier part of the city. Drawing my cloak tight around my body, I hurry on my way. Though I keep my eyes sharp and listen intently, there's only the sound of my own footsteps. As the moments pass and nothing happens, I begin to wonder, maybe I really did imagine that noise. I turn the next corner and my thoughts come to a screaming to a halt. My head spins, the world blurring as adrenaline rushes through my veins. Only one thing is clear amidst the haze. The Solus that attacked the caravan. It's crouched over a dark, indistinct shape, a body. A garland of intestines spills from the pallid flesh. Blood grouts the cobblestones. For mercy, the The soulless is too distracted by its meal to have noticed me. My feet feel as heavy as stones, but I can't just stand here. Holding my breath, I take a step backwards. When the wet, slurping sounds don't abate, I take another, and another. Then a shatter of glass crunches under my heel. The world seems to slow to a crawl as the soulless raises its head, blood dripping from its tendrils, every single one of its bulging eyes fixed unblinkingly at me. It's really here. It comes back for me. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that option. I'm off like a shot, running for my life through the darkened streets. Behind me, a piercing bay splits the distance, and heavy footfalls pounds after me. My heart thunders in my chest. I take turns at random, trying to lose it in the maze of secret streets, but I can't seem to shake it. I can hear its breathing now, a wet, fluttering rasp growing closer and closer. The same claws that severed my arms swipe out. I duck, saved by pure reflex, and the skid around a corner. I take 3 running strides before the bottom drops out of my stomach. A wall twice as high as me bars my way, a dead end. When I turn around, the soulless looms in the entry to the alleyway. It's no longer running. It doesn't have to. As it prowls closer, my thoughts race. Some of the buildings lining the streets are lit. There must be people inside. It's a long shot, but... Scream. Somebody help me. My voice rings through the unshadowed streets. Silhouettes pass by the windows, but nobody answers. In this wretched world, few people will stick their neck out to help those their own flesh and blood, never mind a stranger. The soulless, provoked by my shouting, gives a rasping hiss. It's the only warning I get before it lunges for me with a flash of claws. I hurl myself to the side, but the slick cobblestones betray me. I fall, sprawling over the rough stone. As the soulless looms over me, I scramble away from it, back until my back hits the wall. There's nowhere left to go. It descends on me for the kill. But it never comes. Oh my god. See? I'm so smart. Which hot person is gonna get me? I rarely crack one eye open, then another, not sure whether I should believe what I'm seeing. A hooded figure crouches in front of me, one blood-stained hand outstretched. Oh, hello. Moonlight silvers the edge of their silhouette stiletto knife. Their face and hands are splattered with blood, and the soulless. My eyes dart past my unexpected rescuer, in the misshapen form behind them. The soulless's many eyes, once restless and vibrant, now look dull and waxy. A red pool spreads slowly from under its body. Numb with shock, I can't help but stare. It's dead. After all the people it's killed, after nearly killing me twice, I can hardly believe it. Well, I gingerly take the offered hand. The stranger's gaze dips to my bandages. Pale lips part, on the brink of a question, then close again. With the strength belying their slight frame, they pull me to my feet. As soon as I'm on my own to fade away, they pull away from me and start wiping the blood from their face and hands. Hello. Stay there. I will. Yes, sir. They turn away from me stiffly, leaning over the soulless's gangly body. With their back towards me, I realized that I saw their hooded silhouette at the cenobium. You're shorter than I thought? No, you saved me. Thank you. I shouldn't have had to. Their harsh response takes me aback. Before I can formulate a response, they continue. What are you thinking traveling alone at night? This is far from the worst thing haunting Lowtown. I can't make heads or tails of them. First they save me, now they scold me. Lesson learned. I could do without the lecture, though. To my surprise, they break eye contact. Their attention glides back to the soulless's corpse. They examine it with an inscrutable expression. I clear my throat to fill the silence. I'm Evan. Min. Suddenly Min tenses. Their blade flashes as they drive it into the back of the soulless's neck. The soulless thrashes once, letting out a rattling hiss as the air leaves its lungs. Min leans on the blade. Oh, okay, I didn't need that sound effect. Driving it deeper and deeper until there's a sickening crunch and the creature goes limp. My heart thuds in my chest. It must have been clinging to life by a thread. Min straightens up, withdrawing their blade in a single smooth motion. Better to put wretched things like this out of their misery. They calmly clean the blood from their knife. That swift, unhesitating lethal strike wasn't the work of an amateur. But they don't act like any of the cold-blooded killers I've seen in the past. Why is the soulless inside the city? Min looks at me, eyes searching before realization dawns. You're new here. There's no walls around this city. Soulless can come and go as they please until someone is contracted to stop them. The Cenobium's patrol don't bother to protect Lowtown. Not anymore. Let me guess, you're not a fan of the Cenobium. No one is! Why do I want to go so badly? I wouldn't go that far. Their brow abruptly furrows and they sheath their knife, motioning for me to follow them. It's not safe here. The vultures can smell death. I'm not quite sure what they mean, but I don't want to stay lost in the city. I trail behind them as they stride down the street. If it's so dangerous, then why are you helping me? You are making an unbearable racket. Next time you walk into a Soulless's claws, at least die quietly. Their answer is stingingly harsh. You know what? Fine. You know, fuck you. Yeah, I hold my hands up trying to forestall any more snippy comments. Alright, I get it. I'd love to go get out of your way, but I'm sort of lost. I just need directions back to my lodgings. What makes you think I'll help you? Nothing, but there's no harm in asking. That seems to catch them off guard. Their brow knits and they look away scowling. How troublesome. Evan. Oh. Damn it. I turn, surprised by the voice. Karaz walks down the street towards us. His white and gold clothing is pristine, despite the grime of the city. Hello, Min. I see that Soulless was your work. Min shrugs. There's a familiarity to the way they regard each other. I like that he's tiny. I didn't know you had friends. That's so mean. You know them? Min is a freelancer who has done a few errands for me. They are quite reliable. Unreliable freelancers don't eat. There's something Karas isn't saying here. Evan needs to get back to wherever he's staying, before he wanders into the jaws of another Soulless. It is late. Were you able to find a place to stay, Evan? I'm staying at the Wet Wick. Both their faces fall. I see. What? Sorry, I'm not rich enough to buy a house or have an apartment. God. Would you like a guide? It might be preferable to wandering about the alleyways. That would be nice. Min clicks their tongue and sighs, sounding mightily put out. Going to the Amaryllis district, that gaudy cesspit. Come, this way. Despite Min's clear distaste, when Karas leads me down the street, they keep pace with us. Catching my curious glance, Min's eyes narrow. It's not safe this late. I don't care about you, but Karas is the only doctor worth a damn in this place. Are you like this with everyone? The deadpan look Min gives me is answer enough. I catch Karas hiding a slight smile. I suppress a sigh and resign myself to having a grumpy shadow all the way back to the Wet Wick. The route Karas takes is completely different from my slow meandering earlier in the morning. In no time at all, he cuts through the darkened streets and twisting alleyways. It seems like half the city is poured into the Amaryllis district's colorful streets. Laughter, clinking glasses, and music assault my ears from every direction. Yet the most noise still comes from the Wet Wick. Its doors hang wide open, lanterns lit. Here we are. He moves towards the door, and Min lets out an audible huff. Don't tell me you're going in. I have some quick business with Leander. Ugh, fine. He still owes me for yesterday's work. They drag their feet, reluctantly trailing me into the tavern. My future husband, is he here? He doesn't seem to like Karas, and I wonder why. As soon as the doors open, a wave of sticky heat rolls over me. In the hour since I left, the wick had grown suffocatingly crowded. Karas stands out, easily a head taller than most. Even so, I nearly lose sight of him amid the sea of swarming bodies. Pardon me. The crowd parts as though answering his request. Karas glances over his shoulder at Min and me before gliding through. How can anyone breathe in here? Min follows Karas at a clip pace. Leander is right where I left him, although he's traded places with a bartender. He holds a pair of shot glasses filled to the brim with luminous green liquid. And now for the finishing touch. A flash of magic paints the glasses white with frost. You're never gonna guess what's in these. I don't want... Leander! Did it take you all morning to make it? That's my question. Leander slides the glasses across the bar, and I get my third and fourth shocks of the evening in rapid succession. Ice leans against the bar, an elbow propped up on the counter. He catches the glasses and lifts one to the light before turning it upside down. The contents, magically congealed, stay firmly in place. You're supposed to make drinks, pretty boy. Don't tell me you're wasted already. No! Why? Bear, perched on the bar's counter beside Ice, takes a single look at the shot glass and shakes his head. What have we have here? A buck full of boogers? Leander's nose treasure? You've eaten worse. Bear's lips twitch and his ears flatten when Ice offers him a glass. He turns his cheek with a sniff, and Ice just snickers. Coward. Don't tell me you're actually... On one fluid motion, Ice throws back his head and downs the shot. Drinking that. A dark look crosses Ice's face. It's Chewy. Chewy. Wait, let me try again. Behind me, Min rumbles. I told you this place was a nest for degenerates. If it isn't Karas and Min. At the sound of Leander's voice, Min's pale face grows wide. They look ready to bolt until Karas sets a hand on their shoulder. I promise this will not take long. Min's eyes dart from Karas's hand to his face, then soften. Fine. You first. While they step forward, I linger behind, struck by a sudden revelation. All of the people I met today know each other. I like this. Usually in dating otome games, they usually all know each other, but a lot of the time they don't have nice familiarity with one another, and I think I like that a lot. Especially because, like, you want to like these people even if you don't want to romantically, like, you know, see them. And it's nice to learn about people through other people's experiences of them. So it just feels nice seeing that at least some of them have positive connections with one another, and it's not all, oh, I hate him, or I hate him, or he's okay, you know, like they usually are in otome games. Good evening, Leander. Ice. Another drinking competition, I presume. Oh, is it evening already? Could have sworn it was earlier. Don't look at each other! I want him! You go away! Just some friendly rivalry, Doctor. Nothing to be afraid of. Karas acknowledges Leander and Ice with the slightest nod, ignoring Ver entirely. Not that Ver seems to mind. He tilts his head and an impish smile curves his lips when he spots Min looming silently behind Karas. I almost didn't see you there, Min. Looking for your booster seat? Min pushes back their hood. They level Ver with a cool look. I thought Ice wasn't allowed to bring his pets in here. Ver's tail gives an angry twitch. I don't like this. Meaning I want to be here in his arms. At the first sight of the impending fight, Leander vaults clear over the counter. He slides between Ice and Karas. Now, let's try and keep up the peace. Keep the peace. It's not every day the esteemed doctor takes us up on a drink. His arm snakes around Karas's shoulders. You are oh, hold on. They do. I think they are on good terms. He just didn't like that you know, that I was going to him for work and not romance. Okay. I'm afraid not. We're merely escorting Evan back to his lodgings. Oh god, no. They know me. Karas gestures in my direction and my stomach sinks. I reluctantly step into the light. Hey. Hey guys. How you doing? As soon as he sees me, Leander's face brightens. Evan, it's been too long. Everyone, this is Evan. He's new to Iridia. Yeah, they know me. I'm gonna kill myself. I feel 5 pairs of eyes fix onto me, and suddenly the bar feels suffocatingly small. My voice nearly catches in my throat. Hi. Again. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Again, what, you've already met everyone? Ice isn't very level with me, with the subtly amused expressions. Vera's tail gives a lazy wag. We did, not that long ago either. I'm starting to suspect he's stalking me. He looks far too pleased with himself when I roll my eyes. This calls for drinks. What does everyone want? These people have too much boobage, okay? These people in the middle have, like, really big breasts, and I think they need bras right now. This is inappropriate. All the eyes turn to Leander, freeing me from the burden of attention. I still can't believe they all know each other. Watching them talk amongst themselves feels surreal. But for the first time since I undertook the journey to Iridia, I feel a faint glimmer of hope. I know I was meant to meet them. Well, yeah, obviously. The low, pleasant rumble of Leander's laughter pulls me from my restless thoughts. Well, color me surprised. You make friends fast. These are not my friends. I wouldn't go that far. We're more like acquaintances. Not even acquaintances. I talked to them once. They're strangers. A wise man once said that acquaintances are merely friends you haven't shared a drink with yet. A wise man. You said that here last week. I can hear Min's lip curl with a distaste from across the bar. Leander's clears his throat and continues, unperturbed. Let's toast to Evan's health. Care in to join, Doctor? Karas politely declines with a wave of his hand. How about you, Min? No. Are you? No. A resounding pop pierces the din of the bar. We all turn to the direction of the noise. Barry looks almost bashful as he accepts an overflowing flute from the bartender, poured from a bottle so old its label had been worn blank. They serve champagne here. Since when? There are pauses in the middle of licking champagne foam from his fingers with a coy smile. You don't mind, do you? In a transformation as impressive as his magic trick, the concern on Leander's face vanishes. He laughs softly. Don't be my guest. I know you have expensive taste. Then he shoots the bartender a frantic look. Unbothered or uninterested in his company, Ais cants his head at me, a light smile on his lips. How about you, Sparrow? I did say I'd buy you a drink earlier. No, my treat. Ais regards Leander over the lip of his glass. In the dim light, the glint in his crimson eyes looks downright dangerous. What'll it be, Evan? Yeah. I need it. I need it. I'll take you up on that drink as long as it's not one of those green shots. Don't knock them till you've tried them. They taste better than they look. Somehow, I doubt that, but I hold my tongue long enough for Leander to get behind the bar. He's lying, isn't he? When I glance at Ais, he only shrugs. Like I said, they're chewy, probably poisoned too. He considers his own drink, a tumbler of amber-colored whiskey. Leander's tried to kill me a dozen times by now. It's always a gamble. Very clicks his tongue in disapproval. When he finally looks my way, it's with a half-lidded gaze softened by his third glass of champagne. Were I you, I wouldn't let Leander put anything in my mouth. He fans his fingers over his chest, voice dripping with fake reverence. The Wetwick is one of the finest drinking establishments in all of Iridia. While you're here, you may as well partake of the signature watered-down drinks and stale nut leather. He sweeps his hand towards a chipped ceramic bowl filled with spindly speckled jerky that I can only assume is nut leather. What is with the food in this city? And abysmal as we make it sound, this place is completely backed. It's not all that bad. Depending on the day, the food's edible. Ais takes a measured sip of his drink. Gotta stick around for the real attractions, though. Before I can ask what he means, Leander returns with a tumbler that he sets in front of me. Uneven chunks of ice bob into a pool of reddish-purple alcohol. I sniff the drink suspiciously. To my relief this time, all I smell is the sharp, clean scent of gin with an undercurrent of fermented fruit. Yes! Relax, it's just the local specialty, plum gin. Although if you're feeling more adventurous... I shake my head. Leander raps his knuckles against the bar until the group falls silent. Alright everyone, let's toast. May Evan stay in Iridia be full of bright adventures and discoveries. Cheers. Leander, Ais, and Bear raise their glasses in unison. Min only crosses their arms, and Cross watches with polite indifference. I tip back my drink. The plum gin is eye-wateringly strong. Despite a sharp medicinal edge, it goes down smooth. One sip softens the edges of my vision. The next fades the din of the crowd bar into a low, persistent murmur. I find myself unwinding for what feels like the first time in years. Yeah, it seems good. I like this. I also want to know if Ais didn't like the fact that Leander was giving me a drink because he wanted to give me a drink, or he likes Leander. I could be reading that wrong, but it seems like he likes him. Maybe. Aren't you the popular one, Evan? I'm guessing you met Karas first. It would be more accurate to say that I found him. He saved my life. I merely performed my duty as a doctor. Although I must admit that I was confused when I woke up missing all my clothes. Leander makes a choked noise somewhere behind him. Min sighs. It's not what you think. Evan was in grave condition. I could hardly treat such injuries through tattered clothes. The sentence that follows stretches uncomfortably long. I look away, unable to face Karas's disappointment, and catch Very snickering behind his hand. That's my cue to change the topic. Karas isn't the only one who saved me today. Don't you listen? I didn't save you. You were simply there. That's some in for you. Leander reaches for Min, but they duck under his arm with practiced ease, without so much looking his way. As reliable as they are moody. You're one to talk considering you neglected to warn him to stay off the streets at night. Or I might have gotten a little distracted. Min's only response is a short breath. At any rate, I never got a chance to thank you, Min. Don't. The less souls alive, the better. For a heartbeat, Min's eyes flick towards Ais, their lips twist. Ais is too busy nodding along to Very's enthusiastic pantomime of stabbing to notice, lost no doubt, in an enthralling discussion. What? I've had enough of this hellhole. Let's go. Min and Karas share a brief look, then the doctor speaks up. Very well, but there is something I must discuss with Leander, if you'll excuse us, Evan. And just like that, the three of them depart, leaving me alone to savor my gin in silence. Or so I think, until I hear a soft voice, so soft and low it's practically a purr. Lost your tour guide? I turn to find Crimson and Pink eyes trained on me. Great. I'm stuck with these guys. It's not lost on me that they chose the instant the others left to strike. Just my luck. I had to be abandoned by with the two most irritating people I've met all day. Monsters or not, there's no telling what I'll do if either of them push me again. Don't tell me Leander already snuck off to get his knob slobbered out back. He's got business with Karas and Min. 2 on 1 business. Isn't he lucky? I can't tell if it's the champagne or the company, but Very has grown noticeably more relaxed. He sits with his chin propped up on the back of his hand. His ears twitch whenever a hiccup shakes his shoulders. Why are you so far away? Come join us. 'Cause I don't like you! None of you were... Ais was... I feel like Ais, that's just in his nature, and so far, I don't know what Vera's nature is, other than being a dickhead. Like, with Ais, you can tell that there's something that makes him that way, you know? With, like, the attitude of his gang, and that he's a monster, and he lives on the outskirts of the town. Like, I've gotten enough from him to understand that maybe he's not all that bad, maybe it's just the impression he sort of gives off, or the vibe he gives off because of all of those factors. But I know nothing about Vera other than he's a dickhead who robs people. He pats the empty bar stool beside Ais, but I hesitate. The smile Very wears is sweet and distinctly sly, and with the drinks in the mix, I dread how he and Ais will mess with me next. We don't bite. I'm not sure about that. Just hours ago, he tried to rob me, and he threatened me. Me? Steal? Me? Steal? Surely you must be mistaken. You sure it was me? Yes, it was you. And then you had the gall to kick me out just so you can go drinking. Yeah, if he had to go drinking, I could have left with him. Because I was going back here. He gives another one of his shrugs. I was lonely. A simpler answer than I expected, but I guess I can't fault him for that. Dude, whatever. These are your friends. Bear suddenly slumps forward, gossamer sleeves pooling where he rests his elbows on his knees. Ais sets his hand on Very's waist, narrowly preventing him from tipping off the counter. How about we start fresh, Begin with proper introductions. Get off of right foot and whatnot. I'll start. The name's Ver, hunter extraordinaire. Vera's right hand flutters to his chest and he bows his head, flinching when hair falls into his eyes. Ais doesn't say anything, so I suppose it's my turn now. It's Evan. Ver considers me for a long moment, his tail idly swaying behind him. Then he knocks back the rest of his champagne. It's a pleasure to formally meet you. He says my name slowly and deliberately, savoring every syllable. A tingle jumps down my spine. I quickly turn my gaze away. Ice smirks at my reaction over the rim of the glass. No, what? Stop reacting to him! I want to kick him! Is something funny? No. I open my mouth and close it just as quickly. They want me to react, goading me into another ridiculous game. While their sharp cat-like eyes keep me on edge, something about this tension is fun. Like, I will say their personalities are very fun. If Ver didn't rob me earlier and been a complete dickhead, like, at least if he stopped to a certain point, you know? Like, oh, I'm being playful, and then, like, the playful sort of has its ending point. I would regard him better, you know? For me, it'd be like, oh, they just have different personalities that I just can't personally take. But they are sort of fun to be around. But both I sort of don't have that much, I don't harbor that much bad feelings for him. Ver, though, I want him to be like, I want to kick him or punch him just like once, okay? It must be the gin. It is the gin. A flash of white over Ice's shoulder catches my eye. Across the bar, Karas heads for the door. I don't see Leander or Min, but it feels wrong to let them leave without saying goodbye. I'll be back. Ver hums and whacks his fingers at me as he's doing the toodles. I slip through the crowd, careful not to touch anyone, but just as I'm nearing Karas, I stagger, shoulder checked by a man with a neck thicker than both of my thighs. He stares at me. Wait, hold on. That's not possible. How skinny am I in this world? Because I got some pretty thick thighs. Like, you hear that? You hear the reverberation of... Like, there's no way, unless this man's a monster. Out of my way, shit stain. My words spell out on their own. You watch it. I regret them as soon as they leave. No! The roughneck wheels around, shoving a bloodhound out of the way so he can close in on me. What did you say? He shoves me backwards, sending me stumbling to the sticky floor. I'm fine, but my heart leaps into my throat when I see the roughneck bearing down on me. You trying to start something here? The roughneck freezes, his fist cocked back. A group of bloodhounds called by the commotion circle him, sizing him up. There's no sizing this man up. You need to stop. For what it feels like an agonizingly long moment, the roughneck looks from me to the bloodhounds. Finally, he sniffs and spits on the floor next to me. The lob narrowly misses my cheek. Screw it. Too many freaks in this circus tonight. Is it because I'm gay? Is that why? He turns his back on me and comes face to face with Ais. A dangerous smile spreads across his face. He'll do. What happens next is a blur. Ais' fist crashes into the roughneck's jaw, causing an eruption of gasps, shouts, and even cheers around us. I scramble to my feet as the frantic crowd swarms around me, cutting off my sight of everything and everyone. Through the ruckus, I hear Leander shouting, Hey, hey, Ais, take it outside. Ignore them, everyone. Look, drinks are on me. Leander, no! With those 4 words, the wick erupts with hoots and hollers. The ring around me disperses as the bloodhounds and onlookers rush to the bar. Through the thinning crowd, I catch glimpses of familiar faces. Ais vanishes out back, dragging the roughneck behind him. Karas lingers near the door, searching, I suspect, for any wounded before he departs. Min draws their hood up tight as they slip out the side door. While Ver leans over the counter to swipe a glass from behind the bar, and Leander, seated at the opposition end of the bar, gestures dramatically and apologetically at the bartender. In the space of a heartbeat, I realize that there's no telling when, or if I'll see any of them ever again. Whoever I pursue may be the last person I get to speak tonight. I follow... He's beating someone up. I don't like Ver. This is where the romance starts. I like Leander. So... Min doesn't seem to like me all that much. Like, okay, I'm doing this based off of vibes, not based off of what I want. Like, I'll do that second. But first, Karas and Min are leaving. Okay, they're leaving. I know I was going to say goodbye to them, but I can only say goodbye to one. It's not like I can say goodbye to both of them. obviously by this choice. Because if I could say goodbye to both of them, it would just pick, like, go outside, you know what I'm saying? Like, go out the door or whatever. Ice, he's beating someone up for me, but I bet if I take him up on that offer and I ask him about it, he's probably gonna be like, oh, I just wanted a fight or something. Like, I feel like he'd make an excuse. I don't like Ver, and Leander's busy. I don't know. I can always do this later. Like, I can make a different decision later. I like 2 people right now. I like Ais a little. Like, personality-wise, like, he's pretty chill. Okay, I'll go to... I find myself squeezing through a crowd to reach Leander. As soon as he sees me, his easy smile fades. Are you alright, Evan? I'm not used to someone looking at me with such earnest concern. I've been through worse today. From the sounds of it, you've had quite the day. How are you holding up? Could be better. Not bad considering I've been threatened, robbed, and come close to dying too many times to count. I should have known not to let you out of my sight. How about the next time you want to see the city I come along? I can be your personal guide. You've already helped me more than enough. Leander signals for the bartender. I'm parched. Do you want anything? Something strong and simple. Adventurous, aren't you? I'm gonna have to keep an eye on you. I just want to... Just give me a drink, please. Like, of course, you'll also need to keep an eye on me. I've lost how many... Count how many I've had. Deal. Once he's ordered, Leander turns back to me. Did you at least get to try any good food? I had these fried dough sticks from a vendor near here. As soon as I begin describing my meal, his eyes brighten with recognition. The long legs from one stall, you've got to try them with porridge. There's another stall about a block away with these rosewater rice flour cakes. Take one bite and you'll think you've been transported to some high-town pastier. Then bam, you open your eyes and it's the same trash-lined street as always. When he laughs, his hair falls over his eyes. He shakes his head and pushes it back. I'll show you sometime, if you decided to stick around Lowtown, that is. The Iridia Leander describes is far different from the one I've experienced, but if you live anywhere long enough, I suppose it becomes home. It seems like I'll be here for a while. Maybe I'll take you up on that. The bartender returns with a pair of glasses and pushes them our way. Cheers. Leander clicks his hands against mine. Take a deep sip of the malty dark ale, savoring its flavor. It was surprising finding out that you all know each other. I didn't think Iridia would be so small. Do you know how many times I've tried getting them all in one place? It's impossible, like trying to herd a bunch of soulless. I take it you know them well. Depends. Was there anyone you're curious about in particular? Karas, not that much. Sorry, Karas. You're sort of simple. Min... He probably doesn't know that much about Min other than what they do for him. What about Ice? So you're friends with Ice? I've been for a while, but he's rarely in town. Where'd you run into him? The Sea Spring. Leander chokes on his drink. He coughs violently into his fist before giving me a surprised look. You went all the way out there? How'd he treat you? He was intimidating. Don't let it get to you. Ice does well in Iridia because he knows how to scare people. He's a monster. You really don't think he's a threat? Not in the slightest. I like to think of us as rivals. We like to keep each other on our toes, you know. Ah. Okay. Don't you think being rivals with a monster is a bad idea? If you wanted to disembowel you, it'd be easy. No. It's not that serious. Sure, Ice likes to toe lines on purpose, but he's not such a bad guy when you get to know him. So does he like him? Am I a homewrecker? Leander sighs and takes a wig from his glass. Oh. I'll ask about Min. Min's interesting, not very forthcoming. Ah, Min, my favorite grouchy freelancer. What's your impression of them? They're pretty irritable. They're a testy one. You got that right. Sometimes even paying Min for work can be a struggle. Min works for you? Contract only. Min refuses to join the Bloodhounds, but they take jobs from me often enough to qualify. Just don't ever call them a Bloodhound, okay? I'll get an earful. Oh, I can't ask about all of them. Do you and Karas work together? Occasionally. Did the mysterious, competent doctor catch your eye? He seems like a good person. Though it's hard to believe anyone's a good person these days. That's Karas. He works hard to serve the people of Lowtown. He's a miracle worker, even if his bedside manner could use some work. Do you think he might be able to cure my curse? Leander starts to speak, but pauses to consider me for a moment first. Karas is good, but he's only a doctor. Besides, unless you're actively dying, he'll make you wait in line all day like everyone else. What do you know about Ver? Leander shakes his head slowly, his expression grave. Ver, a living example of the Cenevians' cruelty. Most days they keep him on a short leash. I'm surprised you ran into him. So tell me, what'd you make of him? He's rude. Is he always so rude? Leander snorts, but a smile tugs on his lips. To everyone but Ice. If Ver's ever is nice to you, you should take that as your hint to run. Oh. Why would the Cenobium let someone so dangerous hang around in bars? As long as he gets his job done, they don't care. And I mean, I don't mind having him around. He can be fun. He's got a real presence. Stopped blushing. Have all of them slept together? Is this just a thing? Leander shrugs and laughs under his breath. He's nice to look at, mouthy, but his tongue's the least dangerous part of him. They have. I don't feel so nice anymore. That about covers it. Aren't you tired of standing? Let's find you somewhere to sit. Leander pushes away from the bar, beckoning me to follow him. He leads me to a small booth hidden in the nook of the bar. A pair of bloodhounds notice him and immediately leap at their feet, offering their seats to us. As I slide into the booth, a web of graffiti scratched into the booth's tabletop catches my eye. The deepest grooves form the outline of a dog from Leander's posters. Dozens of roughly etched names surrounding the drawing, some fresh, some unworn. What is all this? It's tradition. Whenever someone joins the Bloodhounds, they have a drink with us and they carve their initials. The barkeeper must love that. After the first year, she finally stopped charging me extra for damages. 2 years and countless drinks later, she added her own name. You're not planning on recruiting me, are you? He quickly shakes his head. Not yet. You need time to think about your own path. Respect! Do you know what you're going to try next? The question gives me pause. I take my hands out from under my cloak and rest them on the table. Do you think you can help me? Of course, we can find answers together. Leander starts to reach for me, as though meaning to take my hand before stopping himself. His eyes flicker to mine. I won't fail you. And if you ever need a taste of normalcy, I'll always be here for you. My chest tightens at the memory of touching him. Even now? When Leander swallows, the table groans under his elbows as he leans forward. The booth is so narrow that he completely blocks my view of the bar counter. It's almost as though Leander and I are completely alone. If that's what you want. I'm not a whore like you. I want to be 5 ever with you. How did it make you feel? It was warm, exciting. I don't know how to describe it. Leander rests his right hand on the table. He looks at me, smiling when I place my hand in his. Slowly he begins unwinding the bandages, stopping every so often to glance at me. As my skin becomes visible, I cast a nervous glance around the bar, but as far as I can see, no one is paying any attention. Leander squeezes my hand gently. No one will notice. He pulls back, raising his hand to his mouth so he can tug his glove off with his teeth. You don't need to do that. That's attractive. The muscles of his forearm tighten as he flexes his fingers. Our eyes meet and Leander offers his hand again. There you go. Hand holding on demand. A lump forms in my throat. I'm certain Leander sees it in my face, the flicker of desperation. His voice lowers to... Oh no, he's whispering to me now? Anything you want. Anything I want? Can it be forever? If I ask for eternity, am I allowed to have that? See, I like him and he's really sweet, and I like that I'm getting this like taste of normalcy in some, like, this is stability basically. Like, knowing that he doesn't cost anything, even if we don't get together, but knowing that I have someone like this who is like, yeah, everything's free, I can help you out for free. Like, he's not asking for anything in return. And he's not as rude as Karas was with the whole, like, oh, well, you need to give me information, blah, 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 blah. Like, he said it because it's, like, part of the culture, and then he was pretty nice about it afterwards, you know? He's like, oh, well, this is how our society works, right? So, I like him a lot because he's giving me that stability of, like, I have someone that I can trust. He knows about my secret. He's there to, you know, help me out. But there's this, like, fear in the back of my brain that's like, if when you say anything, what does that mean? Because everyone has boundaries. Everyone has, like, a no, I'm not doing that. And I want to know if he has that no, I'm not going to be with you forever type of thing. Because if he does that, I'm gonna, like, just, there's no point. I don't want to heal myself anymore. I'm just gonna go, and I'm not gonna be around. Or if he's gonna be nice about it, he's like, we can still be friends. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry even more. I don't want to be friends with you. You're so pretty. Ugh. Oh. No, I'm scared. If I touch his face, is he gonna die? Because we've only touched his hand, and his hand has, like, the magic, you know? So I don't know if I touch his face, is he gonna, like, turn all scary, and then I'm gonna fuck this up. Okay, I'm gonna touch his face, and if anything bad happens, I'm sorry. Oh, God. Okay. Can I touch your face? I'm scared. Oh, sure. No. Can you stay forever? I lean over the table, hesitating before I reach for his face. When my fingers graze his jaw, Leander laughs softly. Don't do this to me. This is too easy. It's too easy. That's freaking me out. Like, I'm like, ah, ah. Okay, that tickles. It's fine. You can just... He takes my wrist, angling my hand so he can press his cheek into my palm. Like, again, this makes me really happy because of the fact that I know nothing bad's gonna happen. Well, you know. Warmth spreads under my fingertips. A surprised breath escapes me. Gently, I run my thumb down the ridge of the scar on his cheek, and he shudders, his earring jingling against my knuckles. You're getting awfully bold. I just touched your face, my guy. I've never touched someone like this before. And even though it makes my head spin, it's already not enough. I want to be even close. This, outside of romantic, is just very sweet and very sad at the same time. Of wanting to be close with someone, even if it's not romantic, even if it's just platonic. Like, isn't it nice when, like, you hug, like, a younger sibling? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you hug, like, a toddler, and you're like, oh, like, they're so small, and they fit into your arms, and, like, you know, you just love them so much. Even when it comes to, like, a pet, or, like, a teddy bear, or like, you know, like, when you want to be close like that, and living a life where you can't do that, and then you finally have someone like that, where you could be like, oh, you touch your face. Like, I can't say, in my experience, that I've touched someone's face outside of familial or, like, friends and shit. And it's like, having that experience of someone who cares for you, and, like, this could be romantic, and touching their face, I've never had that, and this is making me very happy. I want to be even closer. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, at some point you want to experience it all. My heart hammers, filling my ears with pulse that grows unbearably loud until I pull my hand back. Are you alright? I can barely hear his words over my pounding heart, but I manage to nod. Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry. I think I'm just getting a little dizzy. He gives me a gentle smile, eyes crinkling at the edges. You've had a long day. You deserve some rest. Luckily, your room is just upstairs. Want me to walk you back? I shake my head and begin wrapping my hand back up. With each deep breath, my head feels more clear. I'm fine, but thanks for, well, everything. I don't want to be your escapade. I want to be your forever. Remember what I told you. If you ever need a break from the chaos of the city, I'll be here for you. When I rise, Lander gives me one last smile. Good night. Night. I trudge up the stairs, but even as I leave Leander behind, the warmth of his skin still lingers on mine, burning through the bandages. Oh! Oh! I'm scared! No! No! Okay, sorry. Choose my fate. God. I want him. Yeah. Okay. Leander offers you something that should be impossible, a taste of normalcy free of your curse. As the first person to withstand your touch, he could change your life, but some things are simply too good to be true. Leander promises to help unravel your curse, but what a cost. The cost of my virginity! I want him. I want him. Give me him. I want him now. Yeah! I don't think... Right now, I don't think there's a cost, okay? Oh, okay. Let me look at him. I'm gonna keep him on screen. Okay. I don't know if it changes based off of the character that I choose to be. If either their dialogue, my dialogue will change. Maybe he won't even like me as much. You know what I'm saying? Not only just that. It seems well, so far I don't know. I don't think what I chose really changed anything, but whatever. I know there, you know, some things are too good to be true. I don't know if that's because my character just doesn't trust people because I was betrayed, but I will also just say that I don't think that he's suspicious, okay? I have a talent of being surrounded by toxic, shitty people all the time that will take advantage of me, and, like, I've gotten better at just noping out of there really quickly. There is literally nothing he can gain from me. Yes, knowledge is power, and he could probably rat me out or whatever. I don't care. Like, he gains nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the only thing that might be too good to be true is maybe the relationship, but I don't know. That depends on how the game is going. I don't know if it's gonna go that deep. Like, I think that is it. That's the only worry that I have, is that maybe he likes someone else, or I am just an escapade for him, or maybe he doesn't want to take it seriously, or maybe he takes things too, like, not seriously, if that makes sense. Like, maybe he befriends practically everyone, and he, like, kind of moves on from person to person in a friendly way, you know what I mean? And I don't want to be one of that person for him. I don't want to. Like, that's not something that I am interested in. I'm not interested in someone who's going to, like, fuck around and then not want the, you know, the responsibility of me. But I hope that that's not true. With the other characters, other than, like Min and Ais were the other people that I was interested in. Cross I was interested in, not that much. I'm not really into, like, his types of characters, like the quiet type like that. I mean, he probably would be really cool. I'm just not interested. Sorry. But I did like Min, and I liked Ais. I like Min. Yes, Min is very quiet. But Min, they're quiet in that, like, I care for you, but I don't want to say that I care for you way. You know what I mean? Like, they're the people who actually do really care deeply, and they want to take care of things, but they just live in a world, or they live, like, the way they live their life and how they were raised was a certain way, and that's just how they are, right? In comparison to Cross, who seems just very sweet and is very nice, but comes off a certain, like noble, smart way that I just don't vibe with. I'd be friends with him, but I wouldn't vibe with. And Ais is very interesting because he's a monster, so, like, he probably just has this different set of, like, personality or standard. I don't know. I don't care. But I'm interested in those people. Leander, number one, though. He's my number one boy. And he's probably going to be in a lot of people's number one choices before they move on to other people, and then figure out and find out, like, who they like the most and prefer. Whatever. Other than that, I really like this game. And I'm excited to play this even more when it like the full version comes out. If you're interested, let me know. I will continue playing it and see where this goes. And if you're not, then that's fine. I'll play this on my own time where I can look at Leander all I want and listen to Dan Avidan's version of Every Time We Touch. That's it. Bye.